What a weekend. How about the Embiid Sixers showing up and taking Boston out on their home floor in a game 7? If you would have told me, now wait, did Joel Embiid spend more time standing up or on the ground during that game 7? I don't think anybody's ever questioned the guy's ability. But you just question, again, some of the stuff that goes around with that dude. I see the people over at IP apologizing for what? That guy is exactly like Cinderella's carriage. If you think that guy's not going to turn into a pumpkin and that carriage is not going to be a pumpkin, you're out of your mind. It's fool's gold, man. And the Celtics should never have put Jason Tatum back on the floor. They should have shut his ass down for the entire year. They put him back in there. Then he's not there for game 7. Takes the whole chemistry out. And really, Boston was a teetering ship the whole time. I'm not telling you that the Knicks are some beatable team. They got their ass handed to them a little bit in that Hawks series too. But come on, man. Embiid is the guy who will disappoint always. That guy's not a championship pedigree. There's absolutely no way when you look at a champion, you see Joel Embiid's name next to that on the Larry O'Brien trophy. No freaking way. All right. Hit the like button. We appreciate each and every single one of you. Angelo Cataldi will join us at 3:30. Gary Cobb will join us at 4:30. Big Z will take in the 5 spot at the top. Will come in and be the Mariano Rivera, close us up. And that'll be at 5 o'clock. Super chats go to the top. How many days are we now until the start of training camp? What is it? Like 117 days? Mini camps with the rookies happen this weekend. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. They didn't do anything on Sunday. A lot of teams are doing it this week. By the way, you have to do it 2 weeks after the NFL draft, where you have to have mini rookie camps. So many teams are doing it this week. So, I mean, yeah, you're really not taking anything away from anything in what they did at rookie minicamp. I had people all week sending me videos, and I'm like, I don't give a shit what they did during minicamp. It's not real football. You're just going over plays. Actually, where you get most of your work done is in the classroom when you're in minicamp. It's not so much on the field. It's really classroom study work because they're throwing plays at you and you're really kind of taking tests. You go out on the field, you try to implement them, you try to retain them. Okay? I hope UBC had a great weekend as well. Guys, so again, I mean, end of the day, nothing's really changed. Oh, by the way, A.J. Brown is still officially 1,000% gone. I saw the kid's camp. Kudos to him, man, for making sure he put on the camp. He wore an Eagle jersey or colors. You know, hey, Devontae Smith was asked at the softball game. You know, well, he's an Eagle right now. They're doing all the right things. You could tell that they've been prepped by the legendary Bob Lang and how to answer that. Hey, he's still an Eagle. Nobody's going to get crazy. Nobody's going to say anything dumb. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to go nutty here. Nobody's going to do anything that's going to get out of hand. And they're not going to go overboard. And neither is AJ. AJ wants out. End of story. That's where you are right now. AJ wants out. And he wants out for numerous reasons. He doesn't like the offense. He doesn't like the quarterback. And he wants a new, fresh start. And he wants to compile stats. Do you know what he basically wants to do? He wants to be LeBron James at the end of his career. He just wants to put numbers up so it gives him a great chance of being looked at in a different light once his career's done. That's what he's doing here. Nothing more. It's not about winning. If it was about winning, he'd stay in Philly, wouldn't he? You can't win in any other. Has there been a franchise in the NFC in the last 7 years that has won more than Philly? No. Can't be about winning. It can't be about money. He's making it. And it can't be about being the focal point and the lead point in an offense. It can't be any of that. Keep holding hope, man. Keep holding hope. This thing's done, Junior. So why does AJ be a man and say he wants out? Because you don't want to hurt the ability to get out. You're not trying to hurt the Eagles on the way out. You're already hurting them leaving. He acts like a child. No, I think the organization has said keep your mouth shut and we'll make it happen. I'll tell you this. The reason why he probably doesn't say anything more, because if AJ does act like an ass, they'll send his ass back to Tennessee. And he doesn't want to go back to Tennessee. He wants a chance to be with a winner, and he wants a chance to be with a quarterback that can get him the football and a pro-style offense. Oh, I see, RC. When I brought up that A.J. Brown had no chance at making it to the Hall of Fame, he has no chance without Hurts. You mean the Eagle offense, not freaking Jalen Hurts. Hall of Fame. Yeah, well, he wants to go to a guy who could throw the ball, actually. AJ must see how Boston, see now that Boston in the city of sports losers. Hey, dude, well, the Bruins have won a Stanley Cup before you. The Celtics have won a world championship recently before you. The Red Sox have won a championship before you. Before you start saying Philadelphia is the city of champions, every single one of those teams have won a recent series and won a recent championship, unlike the ones in Philly. So before you bark, Boston actually has done it in recent times. You haven't. The Bruins, the Flyers haven't won since the 70s. The Celtics won one a couple years ago. The Sixers haven't won one since 83. The Phillies haven't won one since when? Since the whatchamacallit? Since Halliday. And what? I mean, so what you're talking about what? They've done it at least recently. Oh, wait. That's right. Oh, wait. You haven't won since the Phillies. Boston's a great sports city. Okay? That's right. Beat the Rays. I was actually there for that series. In Philly, I remember the rain out. In Philly, man, that was a cold World Series. Holy cow, was that thing cold. So, yeah, I mean, so Angelo's going to join us. So you're not really learning anything, but I thought it was interesting because I started getting people sending me videos of A.J. Brown, wearing green and, at the camp. I'm like, man, I've got to give it to you. So check the last 10 years. The Eagles are third in wins behind Kansas City and Buffalo. Yeah, that sounds right. I would put the Rams up there somewhere in the top 5. But that sounds right. Kansas City's got 3 Super Bowl wins. So wait a minute. You mean to tell me, Prince, you got more wins in the last 10 years than the Patriots? I think that sounds right because the Patriots had about 4 years where they didn't have good winning. I'll have to double check that. Philly 500 had a rookie. Hey, yeah, well, I'm not sure what you could take out of rookie camp. Helmets and shells, right? Helmets and shells. All right. Yeah, A.J. Brown's not back. As a matter of fact, They're starting to build the roster without him. That's what they're doing. They're starting to put this roster together without him. And without him being involved in the offense. He's not going to be involved in the offense. Can we get a list of cap casualties? Come June 1st, Jack Campbell, this is his last year with the Lions. I don't know if they'll get rid of him. They may let him just play out his contract. There will be cap casualties. You got to get down, what he's saying, June 1, you got to get down to 90 players, and you got to have your cap. And you got to have your cap in tow before you end up going into training camp. Listen to this. We know we got like 5 receivers to replace his production. That more than does it. Yet, those 4 guys don't equal AJ. This guy's trying to tell you Hollywood Brown, Elijah Moore, a rookie, and who else? Dontavian Wicks is going to replace A.J. Brown in his production. Sure, guy. You would believe that. Replace A.J. with more than enough. Really. So Elijah Moore, Dontavian Wicks, a rookie, is going to replace A.J. Brown's production. You're freaking high. Sills, do you think it's sustainable to win over a significant period of time with a limited RPO quarterback with no signs of progression? Eventually, teams will catch up and neutralize this strategy. Well, this is basically what they've done. Hey, Suave, think about it. This is why they've fired all the coaches. This is why they're changing the approach and they're changing the passing offense. Got a new rule. Every time that M. Reyes is fucking dumb, we have to wait 2 minutes for his dumbness to settle down. So, like, every dumb time he posts something, it'll settle down. And we've got to kind of bring it down because brain cells will start to float around on him, and he keeps posting. So what we'll do is we'll let him kind of settle down, like a 5-year-old, so that he can kind of like calm down because most of his takes are brutal. It does equal the AJ who gave up on play. No, it does not. Okay, so wait a minute. Here. Let me go, and let's go here with this. No, I'm not. The quarterback isn't good enough. Sills, your overview of Bernard, do you believe he will be able to translate into a player with 3 years of development? That depends on the stability. That's going to depend on what the coaching staff, if the Eagles keep the same coaching staff, they change out coaches more than anybody. And you don't really have a lot of guys with a lot of like tenure. You just don't. By the way, one thing that's becoming evident, I was listening to John McMullen. Holy cow. It doesn't really sound like they're really high on Makuba. I heard John say something, and I was like, I didn't think he played that bad. Here, I don't know how that kid's going to turn out. I really don't know. He's never played the position. He's never played a position. I don't even know what they're going to play him. As soon as I click on the quarterback talk is not front and center, douchebag. Sills, you and the media are always trying to have it both ways. Forget AJ, B production. Let's try it without him. You guys have been bashing the passing game, but Now changes are happening. Let's wait. Here, listen. I like Bernard. Might be a really good spot with his physical traits and sudden change in coaching. How could you like Bernard? Based on what, dude? How could you like Bernard? Because what? He looks good in a gym mirror? I'm talking about football players, not guys who look good in a gym or at an LA Fitness. How do you know that, I think might be in a really good spot? He's never played a position. Sills, can we concede the division to the Cowboys after free agency and the draft? No, they're going to have to go out and prove it. I do think, okay, here. Brock Lesnar couldn't even cut it in the NFL. And Brock Lesnar was a college football player. Okay? Brock Lesnar was a college player. And he couldn't either. "35 years of Commanders quarterbacks couldn't get one." Same thing with the Jets. Just watch 2022 season. I miss when Hurts was elite threat as a runner. Good God. Yes. He was an absolute weapon. By the way, Sirianni spoke. We're going to go over that as well. Appreciate you guys coming aboard. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button. Yeah, I mean, rookie minicamp, you might want to relax. You're not really getting anything out of that. Now, again, the classroom work is important. That's important. It is. Because you got to find out if the guys can retain information. You got to find out which guys are football smart. So, yes, that it is important to that aspect. Let's not get crazy here. Big Sales, systematically, you think we can get more pass production out of Saquon in this offense? No, not with him. I don't think he fits what they want to do. Hey, let me ask you this. Anthony, do you think you could put Christian McCaffrey in Baltimore? And then vice versa. Do you think you could take Derrick Henry and put him in the San Francisco 49er offense? And you'd get the same production in San Francisco that you get with him in Baltimore? The answer is no, because McCaffrey's more versatile. McCaffrey catches the football. McCaffrey runs in between the tackles. And, I mean, Derrick Henry's not going to be a guy who would fit San Francisco, right? With Kyle Shanahan's approach. He just, again, I mean, but here, and that's a pretty good comment, because at the end of the day, McCaffrey probably could fit anywhere, but Henry couldn't. Sure, but neither would be as productive. That's the answer. Correct. Lesnar was a college football player, UFC champ. Yes, he was. Dude has more accolades than some combine warrior, dude. Yeah. Using crates in Nigeria. I think Barkley's a better runner, but McCaffrey's better all around. That's a credit. Seals, why do you believe a less talented Eagles team will be better than the Patriots with AJ? Who says they're less talented? I think they got just as good a defense as you. They got more versatility in their defense. I think with an upgrade, they got a better passing quarterback, and they got a better play caller. They don't have a better D coordinator, but they got a better play caller, and they got a better offensive coordinator than what Philadelphia does. They got better offensive coaches. That's why. And plus, you have a guy who's got 6 rings. To be fair, he didn't like seeing Kirk first pass be a touchdown. He didn't have to rush back out there. Pats are going to be ass this year, with or without AJ. Oh, yeah. And let me get this right. With all your moves, you're going to be Super Bowl champs, right, Twiz? Sales, is AJ trying to win the optics around the trade with all that he's done with the camps, the ESPN interview, etc.? Hey, dude, you're not trying to make your exit out of Philly awful. Why would you? You're trying to be a professional out the door. I think the Eagles are trying to be professional. Okay? I mean, what's wrong with being a pro on both ends? As you get older as a player, my friends, you want to be able to get jobs. And if you're acting like an asshole, you're going to be Odell Beckham. Okay? You're going to be Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham is begging for jobs now. You're also going to be Tyreek Hill. And those guys are begging for gigs. Why should AJ alienate the Eagles on the way out the door when he's had that kind of success? Yeah, you don't want to be Gardner Johnson. Okay? You don't want to be Gardner Johnson. Okay? Sileo already flip-flopped on us having a losing season. Change it up to 9 wins. No, I didn't. I said you're between 7 and 9, and I'm landing on 8 or 7 wins. Where the fuck did you hear that? Also, what mobile quarterback is good for a Shanny system? Well, if you had Steve Young. Sills, I like their defense. I think their offense pretty simple. Well, they got a passer that's already done something Hurts has never done. Thrown for 30 TDs and 4,000 yards in one season. He will never do that. AJ alienated us with half-ass BS. Dude, AJ Brown has had a great career in Philly. He's had a spectacular career. There's been no wide receiver in Philadelphia Eagle history that has done more than AJ Brown. Yeah, when was that? I don't ever remember saying 9 wins. That must have been in a seance with Dick Reyes. Sills, I have no doubt in my mind if D. Preston was the head coach, Doug Peterson, this offense would have been electric with all these weapons. Sills, could you explain what training you get in camp, concepts and technology and terminology? Great question. Yeah, what will happen is you'll go to your meetings in the morning. They'll hand out your playbook for the first time. If you're a rookie, get your Tokyo phone book playbook. Then what you do is you'll go to a team meeting, and then you'll go to defensive, offensive meetings. And then what you'll do is you'll go to positional meetings. And sometimes what they'll do is they'll carve out a spot that you have to leave for special teams meetings. Most of the time, they're not going to do special teams right now. They're going to try to find out, okay, what you know and what you are going to be able to retain when it comes to your side of the ball. So you'll go to defensive meetings, and what you'll do is you'll start with base. And I'm going to take it from a defensive tackle position. So you'll go to your D-line meetings, and you'll watch base. 3, 4, 43, 5 look, 4D diamond, 3D lineman, nickel, third down. You'll take a look at all the things they're doing. And what you'll do is then they'll start asking you, here's a 3 technique, 5 technique. You want to line up here. And then you'll start watching cutaways. And you start watching cutaways like of 3rd and 4, 3rd and 2, 2nd and 8, 2nd and 12, plus yardage, minus 30, plus 30. And you start watching it. And then they'll give you plays. They'll ask you to line up in base. They'll ask you to line up, and they'll give you as many plays as possible. Then they'll go out in the practice field, and they'll see what you've retained. A lot of guys today, what they'll do, especially linebackers, they'll have the thing on their wrist, like the quarterbacks will, and they'll look at 43. Okay? And they'll look at 43. Okay? Great news. They'll look at 43. All of that. Okay? So that's kind of what you're doing. And you do that for about 3 days. Sills, let's assume that Hurts can't learn to read D's overnight, which he's not, and he can't. And O-line can be good, not great. An outside zone scheme. The only way that to make this work is Manion developing a screen game. Yes. Intermediate passing, tight end play. Got to get the tight end and screen game going. Clint will be spending his time with Grenard and Carter. Not these nonsense bottom roster guys. Common sense. That's ridiculous. You win a Super Bowl with rosters, not starting 22. See a comment like this? How many guys in here believe that one of the most essential things in 2024 for the Eagles was the fact you had Isaiah Rodgers, Oren Burks, you had depth at linebacker, and you had depth all over the team. Steen was your backup. Fred Johnson was your backup. Steen and Johnson were your backups in the O-line. If you don't have a 53-man roster, you can't win. And if that was the case, Jeff Stoutland would never have developed the players that he developed over the years. Sills, I think it's more likely for the Eagles to quit on using the West Coast offense than having a losing record. So you think they'll panic? Yeah. I think they'll panic. They will. We might have still beat San Francisco in 22, even if Birdie played. They couldn't block our D-line. I literally just rewatched 22. That Eagle defense was, pass rushing wise, was exceptional. Like one of the better pass rushing defenses in a long time. I mean, they were rivaling the 85 Bears. You had 4 guys in double digit, and guys were getting home in the front 4. BG had double digits. Sweat had double digits. Hardgrave had double digits. Hassan Reddick had double digits. These guys had a boatload. The back 9 wasn't the problem. The back 9 finished second in pass defense in 22. Sills, when we lost our depth, we lost our advantage. Correct. Next man up only works if the next man is ready. Well, hey, Bob, don't you agree? The reason that the Eagles have regressed since the Super Bowl win is because of the backup. The backups aren't the same. The depth on the roster is lesser. That's why you're not as good. Kyle Shanahan is so overrated, he blew 3 Super Bowl leads. Get this. Vic Fangio was so overrated as a D coordinator in the NFL for 39 years. That's what Dick Train's take is, because he never won a Super Bowl. So are you saying Vic Fangio was the most overrated defensive coordinator for 39 years? Everybody was using his shit. No one won. He didn't win dick with it. He never won a Super Bowl until 24. So are you saying for 39 years, I'm not, by the way, that Vic Fangio sucked? He never won. I mean, so you think Vic Fangio for 39 years blew because he never won a Super Bowl? I mean, how in God's name would you think that? Kyle Shanahan and his offensive skill as a play caller and designer are one of the best in the league. I get it. He's got to win. Took Vic 39 years to win a Super Bowl. Almost 40 years. So I'm assuming in your book, he's overrated and he sucked until 2 years ago, or last year, actually. Is that right? That shows you dumb the mentality that is. Vic Fangio's been a great coach for a long time. Vic never had the offense to go with the best coaching years. That's so not true. Kyle Shanahan wins because he uses old school football plans. It's a proven plan for W's, correct? Okay. Last team to go after losing was the Pats. Yeah, that's not happening. The Patriots are not going back to the Super Bowl. Sills, at this point, I just hope we can get a wild card spot. I think that's still a win in my book. That's not going to cut it, dude. I think they got to at least get a playoff win to call it a success. They got to get a playoff win. I don't think you can get bounced in the opening round. By the way, my throat doesn't hurt. I got allergies right now. It's crazy, and I hate them. Sills, it seems like players and staff gets more depleted from the Eagles than other organizations. Well, let's take a look at that. Weapon. Josh Sweat had 12 sacks last year. Milton Williams went to the Super Bowl. Let's see. Jalen Phillips just got $30 million annually. Nakobe Dean just signed for $13 million bucks. Isaiah Rodgers signed for $8 million annually. I mean, dude, you could really make an all-star team with the guys you've lost on defense. And by the way, you know what's more economical? What's crazy? That Jonathan Grenard's not better than Josh Sweat. And he's cheaper. In the last 5 years, who's been more productive? Josh Sweat or Jonathan Grenard? And add the money at $19 million. You tell me. RC, you think the Jets would like to have Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, Jalen Phillips, Nakobe, Isaiah as a defense? So Jonathan Grenard is not younger than Josh Sweat. Between 21 and early 26, the 49ers experience high turnover, losing at least 3 top coordinators, a head coach to jobs, and over 15 to 20 assistants and key front office personnel. Very true. Here's what, once again, Prince misses the entire boat here. So I guess Drake May's like Dan Marino and Justin Herbert because he's going to follow up his rookie season with another dominating one. No. He's going to follow it up because he's got Josh McDaniels. Because he's got a coordinator who knows what the hell he's doing. You don't. Get this. Wait a minute, Prince. Hey, Prince. You think Shawn Manion knows what he's doing? More so than Josh McDaniels? Based on what? Hanging around with a guy and being a 15 quarterback in the NFL? That's your reasoning? Solid. Strong take, guy. Gotcha, bro. Gotcha, Prince. Slagger, the Cowboys lost Parsons. The Seahawks lost the Super Bowl. The Seahawks didn't lose the Super Bowl MVP. The Seahawks let the Super Bowl MVP walk. They didn't want to pay him. They didn't lose him. They had every chance to sign him. They didn't want to sign him. Super Bowl MVP didn't mean shit to them. He's a 1,000-yard rusher. He had like 1,000-something yards. Kenny Walker's not special. He's a dude who had a really good game. And you know what the Seahawks think? The Seahawks think they have a really good offensive line, and they'll get a Miles Sanders in there, and their O-line will produce another guy. That's how they feel. Hey, give a shit about Kenny Walker. And they didn't lose him. They let the guy walk out. You're making it sound like there was a bidding war for him. Eagles are loaded? How'd you lose to the Niners then? Sills, if the Eagles season goes poorly and Eagles are choosing to move off the quarterback or head coach, who do you think would be more of a mistake? Great question. Who would be a bigger gamble to move off of? Sirianni or Hurts? Probably organizationally, it'd be Sirianni. Field-wise, it would be Hurts. That's not really an answer, is it? I'm going to side on the player and say Hurts. Because one thing, hey, listen, drawing plays up versus running plays. I'm going to go with the quarterback. Okay. Why did the Chiefs lose the Super Bowl and collapse the following season? Okay. I'll show you why. Here's another reason why this guy's not real smart. Okay. Super Bowls. List. Okay. So, my friends, he can't answer this question. We will for you. So, in 2022, the Kansas City Chiefs got all the way to the NFC divisional round. So they played 2 games. They turned around in 2023 and played 3 more games, and they won the Super Bowl. In 2024, they turned around and they won 3 more Super Bowls or 3 more games. That's 8 additional football games. Then they got to 2025 where they went 2-1. So in that time frame, they played additionally 11 extra football games. And let's not forget, the year previous to that, from 2020, they won the Super Bowl, played 3 games. 2021, they went 2-1 and lost to the Bucs and Brady. They played all the way to the NFC divisional round and got beat. They were 1-1. Then they won 2 consecutive Super Bowls, going 6-0. Then they got beat by the Eagles in 24. So in a matter of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons, they went all the way to the Super Bowl, but once to a divisional round. They basically played an extra season. And you want to know why they fell apart? Well, they fell apart because they played so much postseason football. It was inevitable that they were going to fall apart. They didn't have time off. They went the distance. All but one of those 6 years either got to the game or won the game inside of 6 years. They got to the NFC title game every single season. I remember now. They got to the NFC title game. Double standard. So get this, folks. For 6 straight fucking years, they got to the Super Bowl or the NFC championship game. That's an excuse on why they fell apart, because they lost that 1 year this last season. After 6 years of getting all the way to the Super Bowl or the AFC championship game, that's a double standard and excuse. You wake me up when you do that in Eagle history. When you get to the NFC championship game every fucking year and you win 3 of them, and you get to the AFC title game and you play that amount of football games with that amount of winning. Give me a break, guy. Eagles split in the division with a bunch of 500 teams, but are going to dominate this year with all the division rivals making additions. While we lost our best offensive weapon, yet to be determined. Same with the Panthers. It's a great take. Panthers went to all those Stanley Cup finals. Sills, you mean to tell me the only thing that Nick learned about Jalen is what he can't do over 6 years later? Yes. And that's resulted in Super Bowl appearances. Get this. Josh McDaniels worked with, this is a great take, Ecker. Get this. Josh McDaniels worked with Matt Castle. And you want to know what this? What did he do? Well, when Brady got hurt, Matt Castle won 11 football games and was an undrafted was a 7th round player who never started a down. At USC. And he won 11 games in New England. They lost the division title that year with a quarterback. Okay? With a quarterback. And what did he do for Jimmy Garoppolo? He got that fucker paid. Developed him into being a quarterback that the 49ers wanted to give up a 2nd-round pick to. By the way, you want to hear something else that Josh McDaniels did? At one time, there was 5 starting quarterbacks. He gives you this list. He don't want to give you this one. At one time, Mac Jones was starting. Tom Brady was starting. Jimmy Garoppolo was starting, and Jacoby Brissett was starting. 4 guys were starting. That's who he worked with. Sills. And by the way, Garoppolo got to a Super Bowl. Sills, it's not easy to sustain success in the NFL. In the Belichick years in New England, are rare. Yeah, 19 years of success like that. Hey, what makes it even more incredible, Mr. Hill, you had 19 years of massive success. You had 3 down years. And then the 4th year, you're back in the Super Bowl again. That's incredible. The best franchise in the last 25 years is by far the Patriots. And it's not close. Crazy how fans mad at AJ about business decisions he didn't get thrown to for multiple halves in multiple games. Wonder why he wants out? Think he watch him get 1,700 yards next year in New England. I agree. I completely agree. I think he's going to have a great year. He's going to have a spectacular year. Why? He's got an experienced play caller, and he's got a quarterback that spreads the ball around and that understands spreading the ball around. Absolutely. Eagles probably second most successful franchise in the time behind the Pats. You think you've been more successful than the Chiefs? Let's take a look at that. So in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, the Kansas City Chiefs have been in the Super Bowl 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. You've been more successful than the Kansas City Chiefs? Oh, okay, Kansas City. Thank you, Brandon. I must have missed that. When did Jalen win the national title as a quarterback? You mean sitting on the sidelines? Dude, he was the SEC Player of the Year. Seals, what were your CJ Stroud's rookie season? What was his rookie season numbers? I don't remember what he did. I know he won the Rookie of the Year. Let's see. I know he was the Rookie of the Year that season, along with Will Anderson. 4108, 23 touchdowns and 5 picks. And quite frankly, here's his numbers. Next year, he had 20 TDs with 37-27. Years after that, this past year, he missed 5, 6, 7, 3 games. He had 3,041 and 19 touchdowns. In 3 years, he's got 62 passing touchdowns and 10,000 yards. Completion percentage needs to be better. He's 28-18. Oh, I get it. Even though he's a starting quarterback, he's fucking trash. And he's not carried by his defense. But Hurts is different. I see. I got it. It don't count for him, though. Is that right? I understand. He had like 3 interceptions also, maybe less. Oh, and by the way, yeah, 5 INTs as a rookie. Here's something else to think about, too, when it comes to C.J. Stroud. Remember, last year the AFC had better defenses than the NFC did. As a collective group, they were better. You saw one of them in Los Angeles with the Chargers. You saw one of the better defenses. Shit, they're so good. Hurts had a turnover twice on one play. Seals, you think the Patriots will be better than the Eagles next year? Probably not. If so, why? Probably not. What does a successful year for Hurts Eagles look like to you? I'd make this point. If they could get to an NFC championship game, after that, it's gravy. They would have had a successful season because of all the transitions that they went through. Because that would traditionally mean, listen, here's the deal. If Hurts throws for 45 touchdowns and 4,500 yards this year, it'll be because they're playing behind. And he most likely threw his team out of trouble, which would mean a success. You don't have to be a starting quarterback to win a Super Bowl. All you have to do is be a starting quarterback and get your numbers and you're good. You don't have to be elite, I think you're saying. And I agree. We've seen the last two Super Bowls. Hurts and Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is a better passer in the pocket. He's a better passer. That doesn't mean he's a better player. He's got a different skill set. Not everybody arrives at the same destination the same way. And again, most people will take that as a rip on Hurts. It's not. He gets there different. Darnold's a better passer. Darnold can't run. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that physical ability to do it. Professional move, incoming test, and didn't miss a beat. We all know you need a good defense to win a Super Bowl. Hey, senor, I think you have to have a competent defense. I do. I think you have to have a competent defense to do that. It doesn't have to be spectacular. This is always kind of, so I wasn't comparing, okay, my bad, Prince. So I wasn't comparing CJ to Jalen. I'm trying to show people that the team will have tape on you after your rookie season because you're new to the league and the team needs to learn more of your tendencies. That's exactly right. And that's a perfect take. The defense doesn't have to be elite. I think Seattle's defense was very good. And where I think Seattle's defense was really good, tackling in open space. Like, that Seattle defense is good, but have they been better than Fangio's defenses the last 2 years? I don't think so. Like, is Seattle's defense better than the Charger defense or the Texans or the Broncos? I don't think so. Did you see the John Clark Cooper last eye in concrete confirmation that AJ is gonzo? I did not. AJ Brown, they're already formulating the team without him. Why are you all acting like AJ is going to be here? It's true. Well, I'll tell you why, Prince. Guys like you and me who said he was gone since January and it was a slam dunk, they don't like to be proven wrong. Stroud was fine in 22 until he started losing his receivers and that dumb move of getting rid of Tunsil. Who's better, Sills, McNair or Hurts? I'll take McNair any day, not just over Jalen. I'll tell you what, I might take him over Lamar Jackson. McNair was a fighter, dude. Steve McNair was a ball player. He's really good. Like, he's better than McNabb. Steve McNair was a good football player. Fighter, battler. He's one of my favorite football players. I love the way he played the game. Tough. Just toughness. The reason why I think AJ is going to well, let me read it. The reason why I think AJ is going to stay is because you can't be stupid and get rid of your best players. You're not wrong. Like, you're not wrong, dude. He's your best offensive football player. Okay? It's not about being proven wrong. It's about you can't get rid of your best players. Hey, I'm with you. I think you're right. And get this, McNair won with that douchebag coach, Jeff Fisher. Jeff Fisher was horrible. I want to show you something about Jeff Fisher. He was a horrible head coach. Here, Jeff Fisher. So here's Jeff Fisher's last 10 years. 4-9, 7-9, 6-10, 7-9, 7-8, 6-10, and 8-8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 straight years he had a losing record. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And from 2004 until 2016, he had 2 winning seasons. My wife's cracking a joke about a rugby guy she works with. No names, though. Easy, kid. I got it. Remember something, Kim. Does she live here? No. What's that? Muskrat. There you go. Yeah, muskrat. Yeah. Shields, how many fan bases that only have 2 Super Bowl parades around like they're a dynasty outside of Philly, just asking for a friend? How many fan bases that only have 2 Super Bowls parades around like they're a dynasty outside of Philly? The Rams? The Rams got that in St. Louis, that other one. Who in the NFC has won Super Bowls in the last 15 years? 2 of them inside of 10 years. I know the Giants won a couple Super Bowls in the Eli era. Outside of that, Seattle? Now, NFC. Yeah, you're KC and New England. Here's a number for you guys to show you how dominant those 2 teams have been. So check this out. From 2002, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So since 2002, The Kansas City Chiefs and the New England Patriots have been to 15 Super Bowls between those two teams. They've dominated the NFL, those two teams. 15 since 2002. We've been talking shit before any Super Bowls. I love that, Twiz. Rams a really great franchise. They won the last one in LA, right? Yeah, with McVay. Before that, they won the one with Vermeil in St. Louis. Bucks have been pretty good. Yeah. Everyone thinks McNair and Hurts are so far apart. Look up their stats in their first 6 seasons. This is so bad a take. What enlightening content. So a 6th-round pick at 199 has won 7 Super Bowls. Enlightening? I'll enlighten you. Name me a quarterback that has won multiple Super Bowls in the last 25 years that was drafted 4 rounds or back to the 7th. Shit. Name me a quarterback that has won more than 2 Super Bowls that was drafted from round 3 to 7. Name me fucking one. Enlightening? That's the greatness of the Patriots. They have a one of that they found with pick 199. You want enlightening? They'll never do that again. Like, ever. No quarterback has won more Super Bowls. Think about the multiple quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls. Elway, number 1 overall. Montana, 3rd round, 4. Name me another one. Aikman, 1st overall. Elway won 2. Manning, number 1 overall. Pick 199. You'll never see it in your life again. That's the greatness of the Patriots. Developing, finding, and putting players around them and making them better. You think that finding a guy like Tom Brady, do you know how many Tom Bradys have gone through the cracks in NFL history? Hundreds. Ask Kurt Warner. You know, hey, folks, Kyle, tell that one guy, how did Kurt Warner get the starting job in St. Louis? Do you remember? Do any of you remember how Kurt Warner got that job? You know how many Tom Brady's have gone and you would never have known? Okay? Never have known. Does anybody remember the story of how Kurt Warner got that job? Yeah, remember though, it was the final exhibition game of the year. And they had scored a touchdown. Remember what he said? And he banged his head on the wall. And he broke some vertebrae in his neck. It was the final exhibition game. And here was this guy that was cut 5 times. 5 times he was cut. Played in the Arena League. Played in the World League. Nobody knew anything about him. Mike Martz told me the story. Every coach in the building said, Dick, are you going to make a move to get a quarterback in here? And he sat for a minute and said, no. You know, there's something about this kid, and there's something about Kurt Warner. I'm going to go with him. Half the room didn't want him. They wanted him to make a move. And he said, nah, I'm going. They were going to cut his ass. He wasn't going to make the frickin' team. And then Trent Green got hurt. They were debating whether to cut him. I think actually the Arena League made him a better passer because they're quick throws. By the way, Angelo Cataldi will join us at 3:30. I saw this. Kurt Warner getting beat up by Ty Detmer had to sting. Yeah, that's in Green Bay, right? Yeah, Andy Reid was up there, and so was, what's his name? The guy who ended up coaching the 49ers. And they were all like, this guy Kurt Warner can play. They had Mark Brunell. They had Ty Detmer. Brett Favre was there. They had a whole shitload of quarterbacks in camp, and Warner was the odd guy out. Wait a minute, Sells. I thought it was the Washington Redskins quarterback banged his head. Yeah, Green played there. But then he was in St. Louis. He lost his job in the final exhibition game. He learned to stop leaving the pocket. Yes. Yeah, Steve Mariucci. That's right. Mariucci was up there with Andy Reid. And maybe John Gruden may have been up there too. And he may have been up there. Even we lost to Kansas City in 22, some of the best years from quarterbacks in the modern era, all not won a Super Bowl because of Mahomes and Brady. Brandon, it's like being in the era of Tiger. You want to hear a stat about Phil Mickelson? Phil Mickelson was never the number one player in golf in the world in his entire career. Like ever. He was never the number one player. Vijay Singh was. David Duval was. But in the era of Tiger, or like playing in the era of Jordan. You know, when you're in the era of Brady, you're not going to win a lot. There's always a GOAT. There's always like one guy. Like Karl Malone was a great player. He just happened to play in the era of Jordan. I know, but you know what? To some people, they'll call that freaking excuses. Some guys are just that guy. Hey, I'll tell you one thing about McNabb. McNabb didn't lose to Boomer Esiason. He lost to Tom Brady. I mean, wasn't like he lost to Jake Delhomme. Tremendous connections. By the way, most college quarterbacks are being developed versus the NFL teams looking for. College, most are developed RPO style. Look at the quarterbacks being drafted, pocket passers. Yeah, well, here's why you have to have some versatility. Kim, you know why you have to have versatility? Because of free agency today. Where do most teams lose free agents to? Their offensive line. Because there's 5 of them. And if you pay, you know why the Eagle pay scale is unbalanced? And why nobody's making money on the offensive or on the defensive side? Because you pay 4 dudes in your 5 guys, offensive line wise. I wonder if that stat's out there. Eagles clearly have the most expensive offensive line. Yeah. The Eagles spend the most money of anybody in their O-line. Nobody spends more. Got a 25 and a 30 at tackle. That's 55. Your guard makes 23. That's 78. And your center makes 23. That's $111 million of your $280 million salary cap with 5 dudes. 5 dudes. Bro, Patrick Mahomes has got 5 AFC championships, 3 Super Bowls, and 3 MVPs. My God. That's like saying, well, Nick Foles is 1-1 against Tom Brady. So? That's why I think they're pivoting on offense. After you go, how much they make? Now you go through all the teams in the league that have the best offensive lines. I don't believe the Eagles are the best offensive line anymore. I think they're overrated. Don't you want them to prove it that they're the best offensive line? How many people in here think the Eagle offensive line was the best last year? Do you believe the Eagles had the best O-line in football last year? Gotcha, brother. How many people think the Eagles had the best offensive line? When majority of the games they were outrushed. So when you tell me that you're the highest paid O-line in football, okay? Yeah, get this. He says they were all injured last year. You missed 3 games between Cam Jurgens and Landon, and Lane was out. Yes. You missed 3 games. You had no depth. That was your problem. Like you did the year previous. I hope Hurts goes and gets the MVP this season. That's still the biggest knock the haters use. 4K 40 TDs. Come on, Hurts. Dude, that's not his skill set. He's not a passer. He's an all-around player. Let me ask you this. Intern Sirianni. Do you think Jalen Hurts will ever go for 42 touchdown passes? Here, I want to show you guys something. Let me ask you this. By the way, this guy's going to Canton. Do you think, let me see, 41-72, 41-4. And then, by the way, this is hard to believe. The highest rated quarterback in pro football history is Lamar Jackson. Okay. So, like, do you guys think Hurts will ever do this? 4,172 passing yards, 41 touchdowns, and 4 picks in 1 year. Oh, and run for 915 yards and 4 touchdowns in the same year. That's fucking elite. You'll never see a guy do that again. Well, I don't know. You might see that because, as Kim says, they're developing guys to do that. And remember, you go to the Hall of Fame based on your accomplishments, not on Super Bowls. I mean, like I pointed out to you, 35 people, 34 people have won the Super Bowl MVP that are in Canton. 34 people have won the Super Bowl MVP and aren't in Canton. Because of free agency. And where I think Jalen gets him, I think Jalen is more patient with the game. I think he's more patient. I think Lamar and their coaching staff, I think they panic. You know, like the last 2 playoff years with John Harbaugh, how are you throwing the ball 41 and 38 times when you got Derrick Henry in the fucking backfield? And by the way, the reason they're changing the offense in Philly, and he did have a 1,900-yard rusher, and he still got that done. Hurts will get around 20 TD passes. Hurts is not going to go for 800 yards. He hasn't gone for 800 yards in 4 years since the 22 season. I don't believe he's going to do that. So why does the Hall of Fame voters have issues putting Steelers in the Hall of Fame? Because there's too many of them. I know, it's lame. If the entire team belongs in the Hall of Fame, they should be in. That's why, like, guys like L.C. Greenwood and these guys, L.C. Greenwood should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And you can make an argument Andy Russell should be in the Hall of Fame. That's why Jalen Hurts won't get the numbers like Lamar, but he will win more games than Lamar. Bro, Lamar Jackson wins 70% of his games. You mean playoff games? By the way, there's no excuses for him not to win in the playoffs. He's got just as good an organization as Hurts does. And the excuses that we just talked about with, you got Burrow, Mahomes, Allen. Hey, dude, you got to run through that. You mean, if you want to be considered that guy, you got to beat Michael Jordan. You just got to beat them. You could be right, Sills. It's been 4 years. I'm hoping a prove it year will pull it out for him. Lamar's a fraud in the playoffs, but Baltimore fans are not ready for that convo. I don't believe that. I don't believe he's a fraud. So let's do this here. Okay. And Lamar right now, again, is the all-time passer in pro football history at 102.2. And yards per play, 8.3, indicates all-time record. Incredible. And, I mean, he's developed into a passer where I thought he'd never be. Sills, Cooper DeJean spotted with Cowboys cheerleader at Kentucky Derby. Conflict with Cowboys knowing injury information, etc., are not a big deal. I saw him with that honey. Dude, that guy is... How do you know he's not... Now, wait a minute here. Aunt Betty, everyone, Hollywood, Sue, Kim, Hollywood. How do you know he's not pumping her for information? uh, oh, oh, uh, my allergies are kicking. Hey, I'm just. How do you know? Wait. Well, you're asking me conflict of interest. How do you know? You know, he's not pumping her for him for me. How do you know that he's not like being like a spy here? Right? I'm just I'm talking about the information. You guys are the ones that are going down that lane. I'm not. Angelo Cataldi's going to join us in 4 minutes here, so we're going to get his thoughts. Okay, yeah. Well, how do you know he's not reverse psychologying it? And he's pumping her for info. No? Nothing? I love Cooper DeJean. Hey, if I wanted to come back as an NFL player, he's it. This guy hangs out at Wildwood. This guy's from like the cornfields of Iowa, right? This guy's turned out to be like he's like a Hollywood gigolo now. He's got a cowboy cheerleader. He's going to Kentucky Derby, hanging out in the boxes. I love Cooper DeJean. Cooper's my boy, man. If I want to come back as a player, Cooper's it. You got it. Field of dreams. This guy comes to Philly, man. Holy shit. You imagine what his – hey, Sue, how many times have you DM'd him on his X account? Let me guess. 7. Come on, Kim. Hey, Uncle Paulie Walnuts is going to be on your ass if you've been DMing him. Cooper the Bird. Cooper the Cannoli. Sills at 21, I thought Jalen couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. I hated everything that was going on. All right. Boy, I'll tell you. You know what? When I come to Philly, there's only one thing I want to do. I want to rub the nose of Angelo Cataldi. I'm going to tell you why, because this guy's turning out to be Nostradamus. He really is, man. He jumped all over. He said, Rob Thompson, what is going on there? By the way, so I text Alex Corey, he's a Miami Hurricane. And I said, Alex, did Dave Dombrowski, and I know Dave from like the Marlin days. So I go, did he offer you the job? He goes, bro, I got fired. I got back to South Florida, and I'm down in Miami. My wife says there's a phone call from Philly. And Bob Nightingale gave me the heads up. He goes, your boy got offered the job. And I'm like, did Dave Dombrowski offer you that job? He goes, yeah. He goes, what are you going to do? He goes, hey, I go, am I going to see you in Clearwater? He goes, maybe. I'll bet you the Mets are going to be involved in this too. You never know what's going on with that stupid mess. Hey, the battle for the basement right now. Thanks, Rob. It's Mets and Phillies. How you doing? And then we get this. Before I bring Angelo on, okay, you guys know what pyrite gold is? If you go down to the land of Embiid, okay, in the land of Embiid, like when you go down like to South Africa, you can find like gold. There's like gold places where you can dig for gold. Well, when you go to the country of Embiid, it's the land of pyrite. You take it to a jeweler, he goes, this is phony. He will turn out to be the pumpkin. He's a pumpkin. Don't let him suck you in. All right. Without further ado, the man, the myth, the man who absolutely called much of this. He said Bobo Patullo, and he said Rob Thompson was a stiff. Without a doubt, our friend, Angelo Cataldi, joins us now. By the way, I gave him some more time off because I know the last time he was on, he was taxed. Angelo, first and foremost, let me start out with the land of Embiid before we get into the I couldn't tell who was on the floor more. I couldn't tell what was going on with him being on the floor. Your takeaway on the Sixers taking out the Celtics.
I wrote about him today in my blog, Dan, and I basically said I fell in love with the Sixers when I was 10 because of a big man, Wilt Chamberlain. And I fell completely out of love with the Sixers now with another 7-footer, another big man, Joel Embiid. This guy's the biggest phony I've ever seen in my life watching sports. That game 7, right? And look, I'm not telling you the Sixers move on without him. They need him. He's a hell of a player. I'm not telling you he's not an amazing talent. But the fact is, in the fourth quarter of the game 7 that they won, he was throwing clunkers up, 3-pointers, giving the Celtics a chance back. And Maxey went, give me the ball. Give me. And then Maxey started driving to the hoop. They couldn't stop him. Driving to the hoop. They won the game because of Maxey, not because of Embiid. Now there's a minute to go in the friggin' game there. And I'm already, all he's done the whole night, every time there's a call, he's bitching to somebody. One of the Celtics today got on him. They said, he got called. Jaylen Brown went, he got called because he just never shuts up. He's always bitching about something. So he got that going on. We had all the drama. Oh, is he going to play? Is he not? What's going to happen? And he starts limping. With a minute to go, he starts limping. And I'm going, my head's about to explode. I'm going, is that his knee? Or is that his hip? Is that his back? He's had all of these injuries. I can't even tell what he's limping for. And then after the game there, in a moment of amazing honesty, he went, I was faking. He acknowledged it. He acknowledged. So here's what was going on. Maxey stays the season with an amazing fourth quarter. This jackass who gave the Celtics a chance to get back in says, hold on. He doesn't need the spotlight. Get it back on me. I'll start limping. They'll have a new narrative. The Embiid toughed through with appendicitis and 19 other injuries and played hard to the end. I can't stand the guy. Dan, this city right now is really feeling it again for the Sixers and for the Flyers, both of them. And I'm going, I can't join that party. If I was on the air, this would be torture for me because I can't come out and destroy a guy when they just won the round. I'm the party pooper. But I'm not doing that job anymore. And I'm just telling you, watching that man ruins every moment when he's in a game. And I've been a Sixer fan my whole life. I cannot stand Joel Embiid.
Wow. You think they get by the Knicks?
The Knicks are not great.
No,
the Knicks
they
had more trouble
against the Hawks.
They struggle against the Hawks, which is not that good a team. So, yeah, you know what? I mean, they suddenly got Paul George is playing. Embiid is still amazing. And Maxey is the best player on the team. He's the clutch guy. So, yeah, they got a chance against anyone. Honestly, they really do. And I'll say one other thing, too. Nick Nurse is a good coach. He's the best coach we got in this city right now. I really do. It's hard for me to evaluate Tocchet. I don't know that much about hockey. But he's definitely better than Sirianni. And he's way better than the guy that just got canned, Rob Thompson. It took 4 years for him to figure out he didn't know what he was doing. But, yeah, they really do have a chance. And I will watch it in a detached state. Because while I'm enjoying my local team winning, I'm not enjoying the biggest fraud I've seen on the court do his act over and over. It's so tired. I'm so sick of that phony.
Hey, Angelo, there's a shot they could get to the finals, and I'm going to tell you why. Pistons and Cavs, that doesn't shake me right there, where I think they could not beat them and get themselves in an NBA Finals there. I mean, the Pistons were down 3-1 to the Magic, and they had to rally back and had to win that, and the Cavs have kind of wobbled a little bit.
Yep.
Dude, this Knicks team doesn't do anything for me here. They, like I said, they were up and down. I don't know, man. This Sixer team might get to the finals.
They might, but let's not jump the gun. They have never, in Embiid's 12 seasons, they have never gotten to the next round, the conference round. They beat the Knicks. They're further than they ever were with
Toronto.
Embiid. So you know what? I have to see it first because I've seen him come up real small in big moments, real small, and it would not surprise me. I'll make another prediction for you. This is going to go pretty deep. It's not a 4-game series or probably even a 5. At some point, he will acquire a new injury, which he can milk into TV drama. You'll see more of that crap because it's the only act he knows, and he keeps rolling it back out. And here's the amazing part, Dan. They keep buying into it. Oh, and there's Embiid limping. Man, you got to give that man credit. He rolled off on a surgery table. Appendicitis. Still, there's probably blood seeping from
Willis Reed.
It's just such a load of shit. Awful. Awful.
Man, you called this too. Let me go over here now with the Phillies. So Dombrowski comes up and he blows the guy out 30 games in, basically, into the season. And you're like, okay, well, I saw Cleveland last year roll all the way, get better. They kind of struggled out of the gate with Francona. They went all the way. They made the playoffs. You didn't want to be patient. You spent all this money on this payroll. Your team's a little older, obviously, and you fired Rob Thompson. What was the epiphany with Dombrowski and firing Rob Thompson?
Well, they were 9-19 with a $300 million payroll. So why they brought Thompson back, why they added another year, he's paid through 27 now. He's paid for basically the next 2 years. That made no sense. But here's the worst part to me. Dombrowski, I've always been a Dombrowski fan, but he handled this brutally, all right? He's giving, in Philadelphia, Dave Dombrowski is giving a vote of confidence to Rob Thompson. At the same time, he's calling Alex Cora, who is a way better manager than Rob Thompson ever thought he could be. And he's basically recruiting Cora to come to Philadelphia to take over right away, while he's telling everybody, no, it's not Rob's fault. Rob's doing great. And then like 3 days later, he gets rid of him. He cans him. Cora wouldn't come for the reason you were saying. He's going to sit out the rest of the season. He may be here after. There may be a bidding war for him afterward.
Mets.
But Dan, here's the thing. Here's what I wrote today. All right. Rob Thompson is one of the nicest people in a position of power in my years in Philadelphia. He was nice to everyone. He treated everyone with respect and dignity. The dumbest questions he answered without saying it was a dumb question. He tolerated all of the blatant ass kissing that goes on in the city now, even though he came from New York. He was he's in the Yankee system for a long time. He knows ass kissing when he sees it. And he treated everybody great. And that bought him so much more time. Nobody ever criticized him. No one ever said he was a horseshit manager, even though all it required was a TV set. It was almost every game. He was just religiously addicted to analytics to the point where even if it made no sense, he bunted. The guy hadn't bunted in 3 years. He bunted in playoffs against the Dodgers. It backfired. He took out Wheeler the year before when he was throwing a one-hitter and they blew the game. He had no instinct for it. He didn't even trust his instincts. But in the end, he leaves, and everybody's going to think kindly of him, even though in 4 years, he did not win with a roster worthy of a championship.
Oh, yes.
Didn't do it, all right?
Yeah.
Now the focus will turn, not to Don Mattingly, although he's 5-1 already, so we could already see the effect of not having Thompson there. No, now people are going to look at Dombrowski, because not only did he pull this switcheroo thing and lie about with that vote of confidence, but then after the fact, Thompson holds his own news conference after he gets fired. Very unusual.
Unusual.
And he says, I owe this to you. You've been fair to me. and I feel I should be accountable right to the end. Then Dombrowski comes in and they go, Dave, how much of this can we lay on you for your roster construction? Oh, I'm not dealing with that. You deal with that. And he's a jerk about it. And you go, oh, really? Well, for these people that have been covering Dombrowski and shining his shoes for 5 years now, when they get dissed, that might wake them up. Maybe they'll do their job and hold Dombrowski accountable, because if this roster doesn't do it, Dombrowski's in his 70s now. He's had a lot of shots at this, and he spent more money than you could ever imagine. Maybe it's time he gets the heave-ho. Maybe he leaves next.
Do you think this roster is as talented as that 08 roster?
No, there's holes everywhere now. It's funny. You didn't see Bone go this way. Now, Alec Bone was a much better player than he's become. And we'll see if he wakes up at some point. Trey Turner remains incredibly overpaid. He is not a $300 million player.
No way.
Schwarber is still a tremendous force in the lineup, but I'm worried about his age and his size, and I don't see he's getting they got 5 more years with him at monster money, right? Harper, I'm not sure he's elite anymore. Oop, that should get him excited, right?
Does this make sense to you? When you look at Harper, doesn't it look like the Pujols back end of that contract that Pujols had in Anaheim, where remember when he was the front end of it, he was like 330, 40 homers, 120 RBIs. Then when he got to Anaheim, you see 280, 25, and 70, right? Kind of see that.
Yep. And the thing is, he started so young that you wonder if his window is starting to get narrower, because he's in his 30s, like 32, 33, and he doesn't seem quite as ominous at the plate as he was a year or two ago.
Agreed.
He seems like he's a little maybe past his peak himself. They might be able to put it together. It's possible if Wheeler is still Wheeler, once he really gets back into the rhythm. Nola looks like a $200 million mistake. Oh, my God. They're paying him for the next 5 years there. And he's got an earned run average over 6 again this year.
Man.
He's throwing batting practice up there. That's why I'm saying now, my own focus, I always go where the crisis is biggest. And the crisis for the Phillies that was biggest was the fact that they had a manager who had no idea what the hell he was doing. There was a reason why he was 60 before he got a chance to manage a team, because he's not good at it. All right. Now that that's over, and frankly, Mattingly looks like he's not going to be quite so adherent to all these numbers, the analytics. Now I'm looking at Dombrowski and I'm going, look at these contracts. Look at the money he spent. He has to win, or he should get canned. He's the next guy who should leave.
Wow. Would you be okay with Corey getting a job?
Oh, let me tell you, look. Did he cheat with Houston in 2017? Yes, he did. That's horrible, because you didn't do it for me. If you're going to cheat, I would like to benefit from the cheating.
Now I'm getting why Philadelphia fans hate Belichick. It's not that he cheated up there in Boston. It's because he didn't cheat in Philly.
Do you think if Philadelphia won a championship and there were allegations of cheating, did that in any way would detract from our joy?
No.
No. In a way, it might help a little. We go, wow, we're smart too. We cheated them.
Oh my God. All right. So AJ Brown, his story has gone on. Now he's like teasing people. He was at a camp. All of a sudden I get this from all of your folks that called into your show, that you chronicled in your book, loud. And everyone's like, he's staying. And I'm like, he's gone. He's just playing the game.
Right. He's gone.
And now that he's gone, in your opinion.
He's gone.
Okay. So in your opinion, off your blog, AngeloCataldi.com today, go read it. You think the Eagles are back to mediocrity?
Yeah. By the way, that was last week's entry. I've updated since then. But yeah, I do. I don't think they're that good a team anymore. I honestly, their number one receiver is Devontae Smith. He's too small. He's 170 pounds. The new guy they think is going to be great. No one ever does that immediately. That happens once a decade, that a guy comes in off a college campus and kicks ass from the first day. Doesn't happen. It takes a while. So you're not going to get the production out of the wide receiver position that you've been getting. Where you going to get it? Where you going to get it? Right? But the news that's out now, Dan, is very exciting. According to the media, the players are responding brilliantly to Shawn Manion.
my
God.
God.
Of course, right now, Shawn Manion still hasn't called a freaking play. But so far, oh my God. And then, of course, if you go back a year, you'll see that the exact same thing was being written about Kevin Petula.
Is this Petula 2.0?
There's no way to know because the guy hasn't called a play yet. Once Petula started calling plays, there was panic in the streets by week 3. There was panic in the streets by week 3. They went, oh my God, look, he somehow has made Barkley way less effective. Hurts looks miserable. The offensive line is falling apart. A lot of that was play calling. I don't know. I can say this. This I will say with absolute conviction. There is simply no way possible Shawn Manion will be as bad an offensive coordinator as Kevin Petula was.
Okay.
That would be virtually impossible. All right? Right down to the final play call. Kevin Petula had no idea what he was doing. And they all loved him. You know, it's the same thing as the Rob Thompson thing. When he was there, he befriended a lot of people, both in the team and the media. People like Kevin Petula. They're still writing about how it's not really his problem. You remember that ESPN piece a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
That was, oh no, Petula, it was more Hurts. Hurts has a bad attitude. That's what's going on here. That is pure, unmitigated bullshit. All right? Again, the 2 years where Hurts had a good offensive coordinator, over the past 4, he went to the Super Bowl and he won one of them. He's fine. He's not your problem, stupid. Your problem is the people that are surrounding him. And frankly, he's probably reached a point where if he doesn't get the right kind of coaching this year, he'll want out.
Here's something here. You tell me, if this team gets out of the gate at 7-7, who do you believe Jeffrey Lurie will side with? Will it be with Hurts? Because I'm told how much the owner loves Jalen Hurts. But I also see an impulsive owner that will change his sail, so to speak, on his yacht at any time the wind blows, depending on which way the wind is blowing. Will he side with Sirianni or will he side with Hurts?
Well, let me start with this, all right? Because I'm going back now to my my education in journalism. If a owner of a team likes a player on his team, that is not news. Do you understand? Writing, Jeff Lurie has a very high opinion of his quarterback. It's not news. You know what news is? The owner doesn't like the quarterback too much. He's not too sure about him, all right? So any story that tells you that somebody is aligned with somebody else, it's not real news, all right? Because that's the way it should be. You should be on a team working together. That's the play, right? My thought long term, and again, I'm just looking at this from an outsider's point of view. Lurie, in the end, is going to go with the player over the coach.
Okay.
Because Lurie knows that his coach is not that smart. If you haven't figured out by now that Nick Sirianni is not overly bright, then you will never figure it out. And the truth is, the way they have really, they've watched him every step of the way. And they have basically made a lot of decisions for the head coach because he can't call plays. He can't coach defense. He doesn't coach special teams. He looks like an idiot on the sideline, and he's awful at news conferences. All right. So if you'd like to start lining up all the things he's good at, and you want to tell me about the clubhouse culture, well, then explain to me how, with this great clubhouse culture, he is somehow about to lose his best receiver and the most talented receiver in Eagles history. That's on him.
Angelo,
that's on him, Dan.
The Eagle fan base does not want to answer that question because every freaking time I ask them, well, if this guy has got such a great culture in the building, why does your best player, if you're changing, right, Angelo, to be a passing offense, you want to spread the ball around. You brought 4 new guys in, and then why doesn't the guy want to stay?
The guy, well, first of all, he's a head case. We'll acknowledge that right off the top. He's a head case. But the job of the coach is to get past that. The job of the coach is to convince that player that he's in the best place he can be, with the best people he can be, and that it's going to give him the best opportunity to succeed. And because it's a selfish guy like this wide receiver, and promote his brand, become AJ by the next Jerry Rice or whatever, right? It's not, to me, this coach doesn't do that. He's having problems with his quarterback now. The story's coming out now. His quarterback is not really listening. Isn't that clubhouse culture?
Yes.
You understand, Sirianni does nothing else right. If you think he checked any of those other boxes I just mentioned, you're delusional. He doesn't do any of that stuff right. So the one thing he does right, he doesn't really do right. It's more subjective. It's clubhouse culture. How can you tell? Subjective. I don't think he's that good at that. So that's a long answer. The short answer of it is Luri will have to realize you can replace Sirianni easily. You can't replace a guy with that talent and that brain like Jalen Hurts. So I think he'll know that.
Do you agree then what you're saying with culture in Philly with the Eagles? The culture in Philly is of whether or not you're a good ass kisser or not.
It is. That was Thompson. The one thing is Thompson kissed everyone's ass in the organization. They loved him for it. But at some point, if you're in a position of authority, you've got to assert the authority. You've got to tell a guy he screwed up. You've got to sit a guy down when he does something stupid. You've got to be the voice of discipline on the team. And nowadays, Dan, that's less obvious than it used to be. And I don't think it works. I'm sorry. I still think the coaches that are nice to the players, don't get me wrong, you can't yell and scream like Dallas Green used to do, but also are willing to put themselves out there and make an enemy if they have to assert their authority. And that you don't see much of anymore.
Let me tell you, my coach, Jimmy Johnson, came off the top rope, and he didn't give a shit if you liked it or not. That guy you see on television is not the same guy that coached me when I was back in the day, because he didn't care, Angelo. He just cared about winning. He didn't care about anything else that went on. Would you make it a draft?
I just want to say, Jimmy Johnson, I'm glad to hear that, because as a broadcaster, he was horrendous.
Hey, Jimmy again fumbled around a lot, but I'll tell you this, Angelo.
Wow. Yeah.
Was he? Yeah. I remember Jerry coming into the locker room one time.
Yeah.
Get that son of a bitch out of here. And hey, he regrets. He says that today. He goes, I regret doing that because it was the guy's team.
Yeah.
But you're not coming into my kitchen and telling me how to cook the dinner. I know how to cook the dinner. That's not happening, man. With him. And that's how he is here. Would you make it a draft?
The first round pick was basically an announcement that Brown was gone because they had to bring in a wide receiver. And then the rest of the picks to be, I just went, it was a shrug to me. It wasn't anything exciting. It wasn't anything. You look there and you go, well, where you going to get immediate help? Because you need immediate help. You've lost more free agents. You're about to lose your wide receiver. Do you have the immediate help in it? I don't know that if it was possible for him to do it. Howie, I don't think he had a bad draft, but I don't think he filled the holes he needed to fill. And I think they know that. I think they know when they made the decision to go with a young receiver and to unload Brown, they basically were saying, well, we're going to have to take a step back in 2016. And I think that's an acknowledgement of it, because there's no way you're going to be as good with a rookie as you were with Brown. So no, it's not going to, they're going to take us down. They're looking at a 500 season or under.
Would you make of Stoutland blaming Patullo and Nick and pretty much everybody in the building there and why this failure of the team? You know, he came out, he was on the new heights with the Kelseys, and he basically said, we're running bad plays into bad situations.
Right.
And it really came off to me, Angelo. I don't know if it did to you, that, you know, like you said, that's Nick's job. Hey, you know, let's work together here in making this happen. And he went with the guy who was the least experienced in his boy over a guy who's going to Canton. That made no sense to me.
First of all, anything that Jeff Stoutland says about Sirianni or Patullo, you got to understand, those two jackasses demoted the best position coach in the history of the Eagles. I would have been more brazen about it than Stoutland was. In fact, he even tried to back off it a day or two later because he realized he was causing a problem. But the truth is, Jeff Stoutland does not deal often with the media. So he's inclined, even when he doesn't realize it, to actually tell the truth. Can you imagine that, Dan? The guy getting in front of a microphone and saying what he really believes? Oh, my God. Stoutland has every reason to be angry and bitter. And what he said, if you strapped him up to a lie detector and said, do you think Kevin Patullo knows what he's doing as an assistant coach in the NFL? I guarantee you, he would either say, no, he didn't, or the alarms would have gone up. He's lying. He's lying. He doesn't believe that the guy do it. And he'd say the same for Sirianni. Sirianni, it was so underreported that Sirianni, he demoted Jeff Stoutland, the guy who created the best offensive line the Eagles have ever had. And he did it before Sirianni. He was doing it for 12, 13 years here. And he demoted him in the season and gave some of the responsibilities to Kevin frickin' Patullo. You know what? They should have arrested him for that. Nick Sirianni should be in jail for that stupid decision. And again, nobody got upset about it because nobody wants to rock the boat.
Angelo, finally here. So I tuned on your station, okay? And they were apologizing to Joel Embiid for all the harsh words that they were saying about, they were just apologizing. And I just wanted to know what you thought about them apologizing on air to the Sixers center, saying how wrong they were about challenging his heart and his character.
What can I say? If I say something negative, it'll get. Let me just say this. I would not apologize. If he won a championship, I would still not apologize because I still had to endure 11 seasons of phony behavior, of fake injuries, of whining and drama and garbage. No, we sacrificed 4 years for that man. He's the process. And now I got to apologize to him because he won one freaking round. That would not be my opinion, Dan, at all.
Hey, that's like thanking me for not robbing a bank. I mean, you want a series?
Hold on a minute. The guy's making $55 million a year, so he kind of did rob a bank.
He did. He only
played half the season, but he did rob a. No, you know what? I did not make a practice in my 33 years at WIP to apologize when I offered my honest opinion about a phony like Joel Embiid, and I wouldn't be doing it now in my dotage as I get older and older.
Do you think he's the biggest phony of a professional athlete in Philly history?
Yes, he is. I know he is because he's big. He's a superstar. And instead of acting like a superstar with a certain regal aura, like I'm I'm above this. I'm your leader. Instead, he's down there limping and whining and diving on the ground. And a guy brushes by him. He flops to the ground. He's a flopper. He has, and now he's got this thing where keep the Knicks fans out of our building. He's worried about the Knicks fans infiltrating. So he's got the Sixers. Dan, he's got the Sixers issuing tickets through their zip codes. If your zip code is close to Nickland, they won't sell you a freaking ticket. And I'm going, wow, this is brilliant. Do you think they ever heard of the secondary market? No, you think somebody's got a chance to really cash in now, second round of the playoffs. They're going to go, oh no, I can't take the $2,000 for my seats. Joel Embiid doesn't want a Knicks fan to come to Philadelphia.
Oh my God!
Even forget all that. You're that friggin' soft that you're worried that some Knicks fans are going to be in your building. That's you're going to win a championship while you're worrying that Spike Lee is out there somewhere who dressed like Yeah, it's. Dan, I just want to say, all the years, all the people. This is something that happened this weekend. My hatred for Andy Reid is part of my legacy.
What happened there?
But I'm going to tell you that this weekend, Joel Embiid passed him.
No way.
He is now number one on my hate meter. You understand? I hate because Reid did win a couple of championships, and he lied for 14 years that he was here, never told the truth, et cetera, et cetera. You know all my complaints against him. But he was not on the field. This jerk is on the court doing this garbage. And people are still buying in after 12 years. So as of right now, the athlete or the sports figure I have hated the worst in my 43 years in Philadelphia is no longer Andy Reid. It is now Joel Embiid. Congratulations, Joel. I hope that didn't hurt you, because if it does, you'll have to go, listed as, doubtful for the first game tonight.
What? Before you get out of here, I want the Mount Rushmore of Angelo Cataldi's hate meter. So wait, is it?
All right.
Okay, it's Joel Embiid.
Yes.
It's Andy Reid.
Those are the first two.
First two.
Yeah, those are the first
the last two on the.
All right.
By the way, Zander, I would like to post this. This is the hate meter for Angelo Cataldi's Mount Rushmore Philly athletes or coaches or managers.
All right, look, the third I know. All right, the third I'm positive of, because when I even see his face now, my skin crawls. All right, so that's Gabe Kapler, right? Mr. Coconut Oil, right?
Oh my God.
That guy and my fourth guy, God, you hit me hard here without really giving me a chance to think this through. What am I know I'm going to leave somebody out that I hated. I hated so many of these guys, Dan. Who's my fourth one? Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz.
Another phony. Major phony.
Oh, man.
Major phony. But I'm sure if you gave me more time, next time I'm on, Dan, I may want to take that fourth, that redhead off the mount and stick somebody else. I haven't given
Ben Simmons.
Yeah, not important enough. It would have to be somebody that they
Lindros
sacrificed a lot for. No, Lindros, he won a Hart Trophy. Right now, Wentz, just because Wentz is still hanging around all these years later, doing nothing as the second pick in a draft. So
how about McNabb?
Too easy. Won't do it. I'm too classy. I'm too classy to do that, Dan. You try to trap me. I won't do it.
Okay,
Pretty good choice, though.
I'm gonna do this here. I'm gonna leave that last one on the Mount Rushmore.
All right,
As a
right now
question mark.
it's Wentz, but we're still seeking other potentials.
Where Sirianni didn't make it though, huh?
He's working on it. He's working his way up. I'll tell you what, he's got one more bad year, one more year of dressing down the fans and acting the fool on the sideline and calling bad plays and lying in his news conferences. He might get his shot up there.
How about Norman Bremen?
He's an owner right now. Owners,
No.
I mean, he was a cheap, annoying.
But Joe Banner.
Uh-huh. I can't stop. With me, there's too many choices. No, I mean, how do I leave Banner off there? You're right, Banner.
How about Doc Rivers? How about Doc Rivers?
All right. No, not in the same bit. But you know what? Next time I'll have a revised list.
All right.
I need some time to think.
Do a column on this.
Yeah, there's a lot. I'll tell you, there's like 100 at least that I have to consider.
My God. Oh my God. Angelo, you are so good, man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, my friend. Tell your wife hello. We'll see you soon, my friend. Thank you.
Take care.
You got it. All right. My God. All right, so let me go here. So right now on May 4th, the Angelo Cataldi hater meter for the Mount Rushmore is Joel Embiid, Andy Reid, Gabe Kapler. I know, Gabe. And Wentz. Angelo says all phonies. Excuse me. Sills, I'm done with Joel Simmons era. I'd rather build my future with VJ Edgecombe. The Cataldi hit list. Sills, does he know how crazy he sounds putting Andy on that list? I'm with you guys. You know, I mean, I'm with you, man. Listen, when you're interviewing a guy and the relationship that a host has with a coach, and you've got to do that every single week. And sometimes the organization doesn't want to work with you. Ugh. And people always have a lot of hate. Well, dude, watch him play. He's a phony, dude. Dude, and I agree with Angelo. He's a talented guy. Two things can be true. Without Embiid, we don't do shit in the playoffs. Still stop the cap. Bro, Jason, you think that... Listen, I'll tell you this. Now that Boston's out, and on the other side of the bracket, you got Cleveland and Detroit. I don't know, man. I think the Sixers might get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't really believe in that Knicks team. I mean, we don't do shit with them. You haven't done it. Hey, isn't this the first time they've been out of the first round? Since, no, wait. They got knocked out by Toronto. What? No. Isn't this the first time that they've been in the second round of the playoffs? Since the Toronto series, right? Against that Kawhi Leonard Toronto Raptors team. Isn't this right? This is the first time they've been out of the and into the second round since that Toronto series. Am I wrong? Let's see here. First time they beat Boston since 82. Holy crap. Yeah, Bird was on that team too. You mean in Boston? which is let's see here. Yes, with Jimmy Butler. Playoffs have been better this year than last year. A little bit. All right. Gary Cobb will join us, and then Big Z's going to join us. All right. So here's the next topic. What will be the position battles in camp this coming July? What will be the top position battles? Hit the like button. Appreciate you coming aboard. What will be the position battles? So I wrote a few down. Hang on. Oh, we'll get into what Nick said too yesterday. The position battles. Hey, Sills, were you on the Dallas roster when the triplets got drafted? If you stayed, what do you think that experience would have been like? I'll tell you exactly what happened. You guys want to hear why I got knocked off the Cowboys? And I'll tell you. Hold on here. I got to find that. I wrote this down here. Eagles position. Here we go. Got it. I'll tell you exactly what happened. So I started every preseason game in 1989, Jimmy's first year, every one of them. I started all 5. I started Jimmy's first game against the Chargers, everything. Played really well. I blew my calf out. I tried to play through it. I didn't want to take time off. And Kevin O'Neill, the trainer, comes to me and says, hey, listen, we want you to take a dive. We'll put you on IR for the year. You have surgery. Come back the following year, and you'd be on the team. By the way, my wife can verify this because I'll tell you what Butch Davis told us in a grocery store. So, and I was like, I don't want to sit out. I don't want to sit out. So I'm playing through it. It was the Houston Oilers. We're down at the Astrodome. I saw Kevin go like this. Kevin was my trainer at Miami. Go down. Dumb Dan. I don't go down. It was the final preseason game. Jimmy called me in his office. He goes, you're hurt. I got to cut you. You're not going to be anything what you were right now with this calf. And they gave me $75,000 out the door. He goes, we told you. I'm walking out the door. Everybody was so pissed that I didn't go down. They wanted me to fake an injury. I don't know. I should have. So my girlfriend and I are in a grocery store in Thousand Oaks. No, Thousand Oaks in Valley Ranch. Butch is in the produce section. Me and Kim are walking up, and Butch turns, and I was gonna go, hey Butch, how you doing? This and that. Love, He turned and looked at me, and he goes right in front of my girlfriend. You dumb son of a bitch. They had everything set up for you. They were going to pay you your full $225,000. and you would have got credited another year. And you fucked that up. And you talked yourself off the team because of your behavior and not doing that. They wanted you, you asshole. You fucked this up, man. Sure enough, Kim looked at me and she said, they told you that? Yep, they did. We walked out of the grocery store, I got in the car, and I was like this. She's like, why wouldn't you listen to him? I go, I didn't want to take a dive. She's like, and you would have been on the Dallas Cowboys all year long. Yeah. They tried to keep me. My own stupidity. You talk about stepping on landmines. There's another one. I'd have been on the Cowboys for 10 years. Nope. Stupid Dan. A dumb move. Kim looked right at me. And we're in a grocery store. And Butch is he's unleashing on me. They had everything lined up. They were going to pay you. Jerry wanted to keep you. Everyone. Nope. You had to be dumb Dan. Right there in front of my girlfriend, who's not my wife. That's a true story, man. I just couldn't take a dive. And I wish I had. So, like, they called me and, he was like, and Jimmy called me into his office. When he cut me, he called me into his office and he looked at me and said, I don't want to cut you, man. We asked you to do something. You couldn't do it. You can't play. Your calf is hurt. I mean, you need surgery. And plus, I was ill. I was getting sick. And many people think the reason that I got the calf injury was because I had meningococcal meningitis. People just didn't know it yet. But I was deathly sick. And 3 weeks later, I fainted and I was in a wheelchair for a month and a half. And I couldn't walk. I was on crutches for another 3 weeks. I was in a wheelchair for about a month and a half after that. I got sick. So that whole thing, man, I mean, yeah, I got hurt and I was getting sick as it was. And I got read my last rites. I mean, they read me my last rites. Priest came in and guy had his Bible in his hand. Me and Kim looked at one another and went, what are you doing? I was eating Taco Bell. And the guy comes in, he goes, you're not dying. And I was like, what do you mean dying? They told me I was getting better. The doctors go, you're not getting better. And I'm having Taco Bell. I'm drinking a Coke. I mean, what do you mean I'm dying? Yeah, they called my folks and said 75% of the people that get it, they were in a mask. I was in one of those things. So people couldn't get sick. Like the CDC came in and they made the Dallas Cowboy guys take pills. It's crazy. Yeah. So crazy. Okay. All right. So, I heard a story this past weekend. So the Stanford old timers sent me an application today. And I take this with great pride because Robustelli was part of this. And G. Cobb's part of this. Now, I called the mayor. And I got to tell you what I told her. I said, how are you not naming this ballpark after the Cobb family? And they went, well, and I go, hold on here. No. Listen, I don't care what you got to do. There's some sort of thing in our city right now to try to name a ballpark after some other people. And I put my 2 cents in. I talked to Bobby Valentine this morning on my Tampa show. I think Gary called him too. Gary Cobb, we're trying to get G. Cobb and his family. I go to Cobb family is one of the biggest families in the history of Stanford sports. And I think Gary didn't know I know this because they reached out to me and asked me what I thought. I go, what do you mean? I thought you named the ballpark after him. Where you played the Babe Ruth teams. I was on Clairol. And we would play at this one park They want to name that park after Cobb's family, but I think they're going in a different direction. Dude, this guy's a legend back where we were from. And I think he didn't think I knew all this, but they reached out to me this morning. I said, yeah, I endorse that guy big time. And now the old timer guys are reaching out to me, and I find that to be a great honor. He is my friend. Fox 29's JAKIB. He joins me right now here on the program. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
How come you didn't tell me all this that was going on?
I didn't. They were trying to get me to get all into it and everything, but I told them, look, yeah, I'm not going to get but so much into it, but everything will work out. I got to work out in the long run. So if it's not this, it'll be something else.
Gary,
yeah,
Gary, you should have your family's synonymous with Stanford sports.
I agree. And I think that that it'll take care of itself in the long run. I know there's some people that are very, very passionate about it.
Yeah,
and they want my family to be for them to remember because we're involved in all the sports and everything. But the big thing that I want is to set a good role model for the kids, though, because ultimately that's what it comes down to. I think, Stanford had a great tradition. I mean, all of the coaches, that's the thing. These guys weren't getting paid any money. All these coaches out here every day after work, they're out, putting everything they could into us and encouraging us and stuff. So it moves me to work with kids. I'm going like, somebody asked me to do something. How could I help but go over there and help these kids? Because people helped me when I was a kid. Yeah. They had the umpires, all the coaches and everything. The things they did with with the little league, and then the don't mention the football where you come in the practices. Nobody was paying these guys anything, and they contributed to us and helped us grow as people. And I take my hat off. That's one of the great things, really. Stanford had a great tradition of contributing to the youth and, getting kids to go in the right way. And that's why, I go around try to talk with the kids because we don't want to lose them. We want to set a good example. And sometimes, some kids, need a good kick in the butt,
Yeah.
And, somebody that cares about them is going to go tell them the truth. Say, son, you can't keep doing this like this.
Yeah.
And we got that. Growing up in Stanford, and I want to make sure that all the kids growing up in Stanford and everywhere else that they get a chance and have people that will speak into their lives and encourage them to be, men and women that people can respect.
I'll tell you what, I had people I had Bill Velez's family and Nick Pia's family, all them dudes that reached out to me. I mean, Stanford High School, dude, had one of the greatest traditions in baseball. I mean,
it's true.
You talk about, like, if I'm not mistaken, I think Stanford went to the Little League World Series one time and actually won the thing.
That's right. You're right. Yeah.
And so we've got this tremendous – I would even make this point, as great as we are in football in that area, I think baseball is bigger in that area than football. Would you not agree?
I would agree. Especially, growing up back then.
Yeah.
It was just, the job that they did, the fundamentals, that's the thing, you see of course, with football so much. Somebody sit you down and teach you the fundamentals properly. So you learn how to do things the right way. And at times, you better believe I look over at baseball and I say, because I got out to USC and the football coaches were putting so much pressure on me to be there at spring ball and do this. And I didn't really, put up a fight against them in certain things. So play as much baseball, because baseball, really, a lot of people thought that was my best sport.
We all did.
And so, I look at the guys now and I said, man, if I was playing, you get a hold of 30 balls, man, how much money are you going to be making? You hit 30 home runs, 40 home runs. And a lot of times I know that when I got a hold of a ball, it wasn't any.
Hey, Gary, let me tell you, when we were all kids and we knew you were playing at Cabetta, every kid went to that ballpark to watch you play when you were hitting home runs on Right Tech.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, no, when you signed to go play USC, everyone thought you were going to be a dual sport guy out there.
That's
and
right.
that you were going to play baseball and football. And Bobby Valentine said it numerous times. He said it today to me because Bobby Bobby was the one that brought it up. He goes, "Jay, they're trying to get, a ballpark named after Cobb." And then right after that, someone reached out to me. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Gary Cobb's family is synonymous with Stanford sports. Of course I endorse that. And so, I was like, yeah, everyone thought you were going to be a baseball guy. You ever regret that?
What's that?
You ever regret not playing baseball?
I've said that. I'm going like, man, because, in fact, Charles Barkley and we did this home run hitting contest over at Veterans Stadium number years ago, and I hit 4 of them out of there. Boom, boom, boom. And Charles, hit some dribblers out to the outfield and stuff. He couldn't believe it. I told him, you know what? I played baseball. I tried to explain to him that, it wasn't a, surprise that baseball really, and getting a hold of a ball and everything was really, what I was able to do. So, but, you move on. But you better believe I don't sometimes, because I'm around baseball a lot, like when the season starts and everything. And I'm over there talking to the guys and I'm walking through the clubhouse and everything. You better believe that I think, oh, man, what if? What if?
No doubt, man. I mean, we had a guy at our high school. I know Artie DeFilippis, but we also had a guy, Roger Haggerty, who was Roger was an all-state baseball and football player.
Yep.
But when he played at Catholic High, and
that's right.
New Haven Register and all them guys, they kind of hated the Stanford Fairfield guys. They always loved them Hartford guys.
That's right.
We always took it out on them dudes during the state title anyway. So let's get Gary. What are you taught when you go to rookie minicamp? What can you take away? Is there anything you could take away from rookie minicamp?
Well, I was over there looking at, of course, them. And the thing that I could see is, you could see who has, as I was talking about, doing things the right way. Just looking at Makai Lemon, looking at him run his routes compared to some of the other kids, you could see how he's fundamentally sound. He knows how to set up a defender. And when he does break, how he drops his center of gravity, and he's able to, make very sharp, cuts. He doesn't make those rounded cuts. He makes those sharp cuts. And that's how he gets open, and so he's the guy right away. You can see that he's solid. You can see the tight end that they drafted. Again, you see the talent right there. And those guys are going to be able to come in and help them right away. So
okay,
I can see that. Most of the other kids, they got development to do. They got work to do to improve their technique, the way they do things and everything. So that's the thing I can see right away from looking at all of the draft picks. You get a chance to see all of them because I'm standing right out there very close to them. And you can see that they got some work to do. Now, is it going to be a walkover for Makai Lemon? No, I mean, he's got stuff to learn. The thing I like about him is kid wants to go find out right now. You see him asking the coach, talking to the coach. He wants to know right now, how do I do this? How do you want me to do this? Something that might change from what he did at SC to bring in, and he plays the game here. See, that's the key. And really, if you're playing in the slot, come on. How many guys have I seen that they were playing in that slot? And they weren't necessarily the fastest guy, but they were quick and they were smart. And when you jump in a zone against them, you're like giving them money because they're going to find the hole in the zone, and you got to talk when they go from one zone to the other. And see, he's got a feel for the game. So I can see where he's going to help them right away with, especially against zone, against man-to-man, again, quick, change of direction. And I'm eager to see him and Jalen and them out there working because, he's got to, you got to know this kid and know that he's going to get open and how quick he is and everything.
Gary, how do you replace A.J. Brown's production and, more importantly, his presence in that huddle? I mean, there's wide receivers that you can line. Like, I'll say this about Devontae, no disrespect in any way. Yeah. Devontae is a really good football player, but I'm sorry, I don't fear that guy when I line up, and I don't think coordinators are going, that guy's going to kill me. Whereas I watch A.J. Brown and I go, this guy's going to hurt me in the run game, and this guy's going to hurt me in the yak game, and the way that he plays. How do you replace that?
Well, that's going to come, and they think they're going to do that with this offense, with the fact that they're going to be moving people around all over the place, with the routes that they run, because one route.
So you notice more movement?
You can see more movement. That's right. And the big thing is they're going to run routes, where one route sets up the next route, and they're getting in the head of the defensive players where they show them something, and that's to set up this other route, and once they have success with this route, it sets up the next one. So that's the way they have this offense. And, the offense has been designed to work in the minds of the defensive players. And I know, even though I have to regret it, I've had, where they run a route to set you up, and, you go ahead and you're playing and doing your assignment, and the guy that you don't want to get open, boom, the other guy's open, so, and that's where Jalen is going to have to be ready to get rid of that ball on time. It's kind of thing where it's timing. And I know everybody's talked about him, throwing inside and this, that, and the other. But that's going to come. But it's going to be interesting to see him get out there and working with with these routes and with the new receivers and everything. So it's going to be interesting. But I don't doubt. I mean, I can see that the new offensive coach, he's very excited out there. You can see him out there running around all over the place. So,
hey, do you agree that Shawn Manion, the number one thing is going to be how he communicates with the players? Because really, if you're talking about his playbook, Gary, it's more vision, because he's never had one. Correct. That was, so to speak, his book, He's writing his own book right now, his own memoir, for people to have to see a vision of the story. How was he out there with the guys? And did you see a little bit of what he was trying to do?
Well, I saw some things, but the big thing is talking to the guys. What effect is he having on them? And they talked about how, passionate he was about these details of these plays. See, because a lot of times, you're running a play, and one play is next to this other play, and you got to set this particular player up. So you he teaches, what is the defensive player doing? Like, where is his read at? What has he got his eye on? What is he reading on that particular play? And so we want to give him this picture. And so, the detail of going into what the defense is doing, is very important, because when we run a certain coverage, if it's a zone coverage, our eyes are going to be back looking at the quarterback. We're going to be trying to know where the receivers are, but a lot of times we want to get a feel of them. So we kind of jam them as they're going by and things, but we got our eye on the quarterback and where are his eyes and everything. So it's going to be important that at times Jalen sets people up. See, he's looking here all the time. He wants to throw the ball here, but he's bringing everybody this way. And with his eyes, wherever his eyes go, you're going to be looking as a linebacker dropping into a zone coverage. See, you're looking, where is the quarterback going with the ball? So he's got to look people off, boom, and be able to do that. But that's all the fundamentals, and the receivers are going to be working along with them. That's why it's going to be interesting to see as they get together how they're working and everything. That's going to be very important. So they will have to know, are they in man-to-man or are they in zone? They got to be able to pick that up very quickly, see, when they're running a route. Because depending on what they're in, it's going to alter what they're going to do, see. And I can see that's what the key is with this offense, is you got to have smart players, see. It's not where, hey, you're just running this route and this is what you're going to run. So regardless of what the defense is doing, you just run this route. This offense is not like that. A lot of it is based on you seeing what they're giving you and you're making adjustments in the route, see? And so it's going to take smart players, and the quarterback and the receivers have got to be on the same page. That's going to be very important.
Gary, here's something else. We agreed that Jonathan Grenard is going to be a starter at one of the edges, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He might have been the biggest thing that they did during the draft.
Okay. Well, let me add this then. Who do you think they would feel more comfortable with what you've seen over the last 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it would be Jelix Hunt, or do you think it'd be Nolan Smith on who you think ends up winning that job? Because I wrote down positions that I think that you could have position battles in camp. And to me, I think Jelix Hunt has shown more upside, especially this past season, than what Nolan has, plus Nolan's history of injury.
Yeah.
Who do you think wins that job, Nolan Smith or Jelix Hunt?
Well, I think that, your point, I think is correct as I would see it, which is Jelix Hunt has shown more lately, meaning like earlier on, when they won the Super Bowl and everything, Jelix was showing something, and both of them really were showing some things and improvement and everything. But right now, I think Jelix is in the lead, so I would have to give him the nod right now, but it's still close, with the fact that they just gave he just got his money.
5th-year option for Nolan Smith. 13.
Nolan just got some of his money. That says they feel.
You think they rotate him?
Well, I think that's probably what they're going to end up doing, or they think they might do. But of course, if somebody's shining and somebody takes over and wins the spot outright, then you don't have the rotation. But I think they think they're going to be rotating them, and they're going to see who's going to shine the most. But they bring different things to the party. Nolan is probably faster,
more explosive, right?
Yeah, more explosive. He's got more speed, but Jelix is more powerful, and from the guys telling me he's getting in that weight room and getting stronger, and so he's going to be the bigger, more where he's coming at times, and he could use his power off the corner, whereas Nolan has got the speed off the corner. But I think they want to get both of them on the field, but it's going to depend on who's producing. As for because it'll probably start off even, but who steps up, we will see. But somebody's going to get a chance to be able to get more reps than the other.
Would you think that Nolan will get the nod first because he was a first rounder? You know how that works.
Yeah,
first rounder versus third rounder. Or do you think Vic looks at that now and does this? I don't care where they're drafted.
I think because he knows both of them already, where he's already got this relationship, I think it's even, as much as it could be even. But they probably feel somebody's going to step up more, and they kind of got somebody because, most time it's not really even. Somebody's got a little nod, and who knows? I think right now probably that I would say Jelix was the one that showed last. But the fact that they got Nolan's deal and everything, I think it's going to be pretty even. They're going to have to show. They're going to get plenty of chances to show which one of them is the better player. And they're going to be alternating anyway, keeping them fresh and stuff. So, but I think both of them can make, plays. You see where Nolan at times with his speed, he can just be, just so quick where he gets a matchup with a tackle that's sleeping a little bit. I mean, he just got that explosiveness around the corner. But I think Jelix got maybe the best combination where he's got speed, but he's also got a lot of power too. And I expect him to come back stronger than he was last year.
So the safety position obviously is another battle that.
Yeah.
Would you agree that because of Reed Blankenship not being back there now, that both positions pretty much is going to be a position battle, free and strong? That, Makuba being injured a year ago showed a little bit, but, at the end of the day, you can't just give people jobs. You got to go out and prove that you can stay healthy and play 15, 17 games. So do you think both free and strong are going to be a battle in camp?
I think so. And I wouldn't be surprised if somebody that is going to be playing maybe isn't even on the team yet,
A June 1 cap casualty, somebody like that?
I think that could be a case. I think that's what they're going to do. I think they're looking at, from what I heard, they're looking around. So I wouldn't be surprised if the guy, one of the starters, is not even on the team yet. So, but they want to have some, they want to have a surety back there, meaning that they want to make sure that people are back there, and not the kind of people that give up big plays, and they want guys that are smart, get everybody lined up, make adjustments, depending on the coverage, because I see that's what he likes. And that's what Reed was doing a lot of, was, changing the coverage, depending on what he saw, depending on, what routes or what they knew they were going to run out of, a particular formation. He made adjustments. And a lot of times it was the safety, because he's in the middle of the field. He can get it to both sides, so I think they're looking for a guy like Reed, so it's not just the way the guy plays. He's got to be smart, and he's got to be able to be comfortable making changes and knowing what coverage is the best against a formation that they see and what the team has been doing so far in the game, that he can make adjustments, because they try to get to one of the kids who's got the mental, be able to handle all that's going on, but yet have the coach telling them, making changes, and it's not going to rattle him, because mentally he's trying to deal with too many things at once, so you got to have the right kind of kid back there. Now he doesn't have to be the talent athletically of the corners, to where you got guys that are so fast and everything. You want to have a guy back there that can handle everything that's going on and be making adjustments, talking to those guys back there, and keeping everybody in the best coverage with what the other team is likely to run.
Couple things in that secondary. A couple more questions here for you. So, everyone's been talking about the loss of Jalen Phillips. You think the bigger loss will be Reed Blankenship back there? Because he was kind of the quarterback for Vic back there, because, look, the name of his defense is too high safety.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you've got guys right here in the slot, and, of course, you've got Q over here on the left-hand side.
That's right.
So they're kind of trying to keep everybody in the middle of the field instead of just putting Cooper over at right, CB2. You get the middle of the field with that giant zone, so he kind of covers that a little bit there for you. That's so right. you think Reed's going to be a bigger loss than maybe Jalen Phillips?
Well, I hope not. Because if he's a big loss, the thing that they don't like is big plays.
Yeah,
they don't like giving up big plays, and that's what Reed really. He kind of almost like where, a guy's around the coach so much to where he starts sounding like the coach. That's the way Reed was, knowing that they don't want big play. They don't want you giving up any big plays. You start giving up too many big plays, you're gonna come up missing. So I think that they got to find the right kind of guy back there. I think they thought they had some of it, and they saw seeing something with some of the other kids they've had, but they're not sure, and so they'll be getting a feel for that. And I think they're going to bring in some other guys who are really guys who will be available, because they're not considered special talents. But what they want them to do is get over the top, make the right adjustments. So the guy's got to be smarter in certain ways than he is talented and speedy and all that. But he's got to be a good tackler, though. Got to be making open field tackles and not afraid to tackle. At the same time, though, the big thing he's got to do is he has got to do what they want, which is they do not. I repeat, they do not want to be giving up big plays. That's a big thing.
Okay, two last ones.
Mm-hmm.
So we agreed last year a lot of people believed the offensive line was injured, correct?
Yeah, they were.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the depth level of the football team and the O-line wasn't very good a year ago. And what you decided to do was go get a new offensive line coach, and you ended up going in latter rounds to get more depth.
Yeah.
My question would be, have you addressed it? I mean, you get a lesser experienced O-line coach.
Yeah.
And you went down the same pipe you did last year with drafting kids who may not see the playing field. Last year's kids didn't see the playing field.
Yeah, see, I have a problem with that.
Have they addressed the depth of the O-line?
I can't say that they have. They've tried to, because last year I thought it was a mistake where they should have took those guys out Come on,
Yeah.
they weren't healthy. They weren't playing at any kind of level where it was that big of a deal to take them out. It's not like you're going to have this big drop-off if they're not doing a good job blocking. I mean, like, you know, how many times guys would have had 3 guys tackling Jalen? 3 guys beat their man.
Yeah.
They're all over him. As much as I like, the former, I was a line coach, a great guy, but I didn't think he had a good year last year, and they didn't think he had a good year last year, meaning that there's certain guys should have been sat down because they weren't playing good enough to be starting, and they were hurt. And I'm sorry, I don't care how much commitment you have to a guy. If he's not doing his job, he's vulnerable to be sit him down. Gary, and try to go with somebody that's healthy. What's that?
Do you think that was part of maybe what rubbed Nick and Stoutland the wrong way? Because you know this. How many times have you been with a linebacker coach or a coordinator that is so loyal to his guys?
That's what I'm talking
about. Landry was so loyal to Tom Rafferty and the older guys.
Yes.
And all the guys that played that he didn't have an open mind. And you know what?
He didn't change. He didn't change those guys.
He didn't get out of the flex. He didn't do any of that, right? I thought that was his undoing. Is that maybe what happened to Jeff?
You know what? That is exactly. It's the same thing. And you know how and in a way, it says something good about the coach in that he is so close to the guys that have gotten him where he is. See, that he had success with. He remembers all that time. So it's like when it's time to change, and you got to move this guy on. You're still talking about he's the one that got me in the position I'm in now. Those guys, I'm loyal to those guys. They're fighters. They're this. And listen, at some point, it's going to get to the point where the guy can't do the job anymore. And and one of the big things about coaching is, as much as guys get close with the coach gets close with the guys that they're his fighters. They're the ones that got him where he's at. At some point, though, you got to move on, and it hurts. It hurts the coach, and I've seen guys where they got to move on from a guy because if you stay with him, somebody else is going to go when he goes. See, I've seen that happen where, you hung on to these guys, and now not only are they going to go, but you're going to go with them. If you get them, if you go ahead and let them go when you have to, you're gonna stay in place. But if you are so committed to these players that when the guy gets to the point where he can't do the job anymore, and you don't make that realization, come to that realization and say, okay, I gotta let this guy go. As much as I love him, I love his family. The guy helped me get to the spot I'm in now. You gotta let him go. I'm sorry, you gotta let him go. And I think the coach, he did not change those guys last year because they were hurt. They were injured. They were not able to do the job. But the bottom line is they weren't able to do the job. You got to let them go. And if they get to that point this year, you got to move a guy out if he can't do the job because he's not there because of your loyalty to him. That you can't keep a guy in place because of that kind of loyalty. You got to move him.
Finally here, in your opinion, what is the bigger gamble? Hiring a first-year play caller in Shawn Manion or letting Jeff Stoutland go and how Nick Sirianni will be judged this year? What do you think will bring him more criticism if this thing wobbles this year? Going down the same track of hiring a coordinator that never called plays or getting rid of one of the best offensive line coaches and maybe the best in franchise history?
Man, you know what? And when I was up there and, you start seeing some of the players and stuff, talking to some of the guys and everything. See, I heard some of those guys, they're still talking about, Stoutland. Look, he's not coaching anymore.
Man, that's a problem.
And he's still talking to those guys, see. They're still talking to him, I hope this doesn't wind up as a bad thing, but like he still has a relationship with those guys. and he's a great guy and everything, but he's got to move on. They got to move on, So I think that is a dangerous thing because you got new
Gary,
people in charge, man.
If those guys in Philly, that offensive line is not bought in to Chris Cooper, and you're still taking phone calls and talking about how a coach coached you and this and that, and you're not bought in, how can that offensive line team up with the offensive coordinator if you're not all on the same page? I mean, if they have any kind of doubt, that right there is a divide in the team. Now, I'm not saying here on May 4th that is a problem. But this guy, Chris Cooper, is not going to have a lot of leeway if shit goes south because they're going to go Stout didn't do it this way.
That's right. That's right. Well, they got to make that adjustment. And he's got to be able to, work with these guys. That's going to be an interesting thing going on throughout the season. Do they go ahead and buy in with what he is telling them he wants done? That's going to be one of the things. And you know what?
What's Jalen's role in that, though? What's Jalen's role?
Well, Jalen clearly, come on, as a quarterback, he has a place in that. And and really, I want to see him grow to where he is wise enough to go ahead and say things in a situation like that to make sure that things are going and everybody's on board. See, because a lot of times the players are the ones that decide whether they're really on board or not. So I think it's Jalen to move to the next step is where he starts getting into things like this, and that's part of leadership. So you sit down with the guys, you might go, get a bite with them, afterwards, after practice and stuff, and you sit down and you're going, look, man, we got to all be on the same page. We got to all be on the same page, and they got to move on from last year. And that Super Bowl they won a couple years ago. That's a trophy. That's old news, right? So.
Okay, I got one last one here for you. Angelo was just on. Here are his 4 most hated Philadelphia sports people of all time as Mount Rushmore is 4. You ready?
Okay.
I'll go from 4 up.
All right.
The redhead himself, Carson Wentz. Number 3, Gabe Kapler, manager of the Phillies.
Oh, man.
Number 2, Big Red, Andy Reid.
Oh, he put Andy on there.
Come on, I'm with you. I don't see that.
Andy never gave you a whole lot, though. See, he kept everything short, So he didn't give you much for the radio, see. He didn't give you much because he kept everything so short. That's why Angelo was going at them. But he wasn't going to attack anybody and anything, but he was always, like I said, not giving you a whole lot.
Here's the last guy who's now ascended on the all-time Angelo Cataldi hit list.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid. He's got Joel Embiid on top. He said that guy you're watching right now going into the second round versus the Knicks is so full of shit. He goes, I've never seen a guy phonier more than that guy in my entire life.
Well, I tell you what, he
dropped 30 again on
no, he could mess around and lead them to a championship. If he did that, we're going to go over and pay a visit to Angelo.
Oh, but I'll say this to you, man. Look, so on the other side, you got Detroit and Cleveland. If the Sixers take care of the Knicks, they might be in the Eastern Conference Finals playing against somebody for the NBA championship in a couple.
That's what I'm saying. They but the whole thing is they need him to stay on the court. They need him to stay healthy. See, he needs to play. Come on, Joel, man. Come on, dude. He's just something else. A great guy, man. Real nice and everything. You know what? Sometimes you don't need a nice guy, though.
Oh, no. You don't win championships with choir boards. Okay.
But he's talented and, boy, he makes a difference. But the thing is, Joel, stop shooting all those threes. Take it down low, man, because when he's playing his game down low, he spreads out the court. He makes everything easy for everybody else, But sometimes he wants to go out and shoot threes. Look, Joel, if you want to shoot threes, meet me over at the court tomorrow, and we'll let you shoot all those threes. During the game, get your butt down on the box, man, and play down there because you make everything easy for everybody, you know. So we'll see, but they got a shot, man. They do have a shot. I'm telling you.
Well, Cobb, I'm all over this stadium naming thing, and I'm
Okay.
gonna tell you. No, listen. I'm
not going to be losing sleep over it.
No, but listen. Again, I got this call at like 8, 9 time. Hey,
Yeah.
you see what's going on? So they posted it over on my Facebook. I'm reading this. I'm like, yeah, Gary Cobb and his family. Dude, the entire family were like all state, all city guys. Every one of them. I think Ernie, when he left Stanford High,
yeah,
I think he was like the all-time leading scorer, Stanford High.
Yeah, he was.
And all that. And I know what you did there and everybody. Didn't you have another brother too?
Yeah, my older brother, James, he was the one that led everything. He had, he had some big year there. They won the state championship and he won the championships games. He had 7 touchdowns, man.
Did you play with Mickey Haggerty?
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did. Yep.
So Gary, that team won a state championship.
I know. We during my brother's senior year, they won the state championship. And then when I came in there as a freshman, we won it that year too. In fact, you had a tight end. I was playing tight end. See, I had 2 touchdowns in the championship game.
They went back to back. That wwent back to back.
Back to back. Yeah, we had some good teams. A lot of good people, and the guys worked hard, and it was fun. We beat
Ansonia. We beat St. Joe's my sophomore year for the state title.
Mm-hmm.
We lost my freshman year to Ansonia.
And
so I had Pazzulli on my team and them guys.
Was that so?
Yeah, I had Duck and them guys, and I had Roger Haggerty and all them. It was just
Yep. Roger was a little guy. See, when he would be over on the side, he was the little guy, that little brother. See, with his
brother was a 2-time All-Stater. He was a really good player.
That's right. Man. Yeah, I played with his brothers, and he was a little guy then.
Yeah, the pool. We used to call him the pool guy.
Yep.
Hey,
that's right. They did the pool work. That's what they do. Yeah,
that's right. Cobb, thank you so much for being my friend all these years, man. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you, brother.
All right. Hey, have a good one.
You got it. All right. Appreciate you very much, Cobb. Yeah, we're trying to name a ball yard after him at Stanford. Somebody gave me some information on it. Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. Big Z's going to join us in a couple minutes. So let's see what's going on here. Let's see if we missed any supers here. Let's see here. Talking Lamar and Hurts. Oh my God. The stupidity's so high. It's unbelievable. Sills, I'm done with the Joel. Okay, we got that one. The Cataldi hit list. Yes. Angelo's all-time hit list. Hey, by the way, this new offense, here's my prediction on the new offense. They'll be 21st. Hurts will be 3,200 yards, 20 touchdowns, 7 picks. It'll be normal. Okay? So, don't ask a question like that. You kidding me? Hey, by the way, get this. I guarantee you, folks, when we put the list together for Hall of Famers, Lamar Jackson will be on that list. When everything is said and done, Lamar Jackson, you ask any Hall of Fame voter, Lamar Jackson, every Hall of Fame voter we've asked has said Hurts is nowhere near the Hall of Fame. And Lamar is. Plain and simple. And those guys vote. They're in the building. They vote every year. That's right, Kim. Lamar's going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Going to the Hall of Fame. Plain and simple. Josh Allen, going to the Hall of Fame. Burrow, probably not. Because he can't stay healthy. Not happening. By the way, I'm not saying that. You know who's saying it? Hall of Fame voters. Don't argue with me. Argue with Jared Bell. Argue with Armando Salguero. Argue with Jason Cole. Go fucking take it up with them. Those guys are the guys that are saying that. Sills, what do you think about putting a salary cap on every position? I hate it. I think the salary cap on every position is by owners to control salaries. No way would I be a fan of that. Get this. Hall of Famer and never win a chip. So what? Sometimes you're Myles Garrett. So wait a minute. Jahan Dotson has a Super Bowl ring. You think he's Randy Moss or Terrell Owens? Jahan Dotson's a nobody. Get this. Julian Edelman, Amendola are nobodies. They're not going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. They've got 3 Super Bowl rings between them, each of them. Okay? They're not going to the Hall of Fame, and they got 3 fucking rings. You think they're better than Megatron or Owens or Randy Moss? What a joke. How stupid are you? Because you have a ring. That means you're an elite player. Fucking dumb are you? Hopefully the Bills can stack MVP awards instead of trophies. They can't sleep at night. Hey, dude, some teams win, some don't. Let me get this right. AZ, you think Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Jim Kelly? How asinine is that? If you don't got a Super Bowl under your belt, you're just a fucking regular season stat dude. You're a Hall of Famer. You mean you're a Hall of Famer. So you think Myles Garrett is just a fucking stat dude and not one of the greatest players to ever play in the NFL. Is that right, Darren? Are you under the impression you think Brandon Graham's a better player than Myles Garrett because he's got 2 rings? You're an idiot. An idiot. AB in my top 10 all-time receivers. Damn shame he let it go to waste. Yes, he still got a Super Bowl ring in Tampa with Brady, though. Get this. Anytime we criticize any other team, his immediate reaction is to retaliate and say something shitty about. I didn't say anything shitty about the Eagles. I said something shitty about the fact that whether or not you win a Super Bowl or not dictates whether or not you're a fucking great player or not. What's that got to do with Philly? Some people make a huge impact in a short amount of time without huge stats. And Foles is nowhere near a conversation of a Hall of Fame player. He's one of the 34 guys that won a Super Bowl MVP and is a really good player. Does that mean he's Hall of Fame? No. Sales, 27 will be a great class. First ballot. Yes. Adrian, get this. So let me get this right. Adrian Peterson, because he doesn't have a Super Bowl ring, is not one of the greatest players of all time. Because Barkley has one, he's better. Saquon Barkley is nowhere near Adrian Peterson as a football player. It's not remotely close. Gronkowski is the greatest tight end to ever play. Roethlisberger won 2 Super Bowls in the Brady era. I don't think Eli Manning's a Hall of Fame player. By the way, Eli Manning, with the name Manning, will eventually, I think, one day get in with 2 rings and 2 Super Bowl Wait a minute. That's a great call. Eli Manning has 2 Super Bowl MVPs, and he's not a first ballot. That's all you need to know. The voters don't think he's a Hall of Fame player. And he's won 2 Super Bowl MVPs. 2 of them. And he's not in the Hall of Fame. He's not a Hall of Famer. Does anybody know why he went to Western Michigan? He had an attitude or discipline problem. Adrian Peterson beat up a dude at a poker tournament a couple days ago. We're not talking about man of the year here. Well, neither is Hurts. As fans, you want your team to win. Yes. Yes. Yes, I agree. As a player, you want accomplishments. It's how you get paid. Quarterbacks are most important position in football, so they are judged on rings. Okay. Well, let's see how many of the top 20 quarterbacks are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame with no rings. It'll be a debate on Rivers, Matt Ryan, Eli Manning, and Joe Flacco. Here's your top 20 quarterbacks that will never get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Rivers is 7th. Matt Ryan is 8th. Joe Flacco is 13th. Russell Wilson is 16th. Carson Palmer, 17th. Vinny Testaverde is 18th. Kirk Cousins is 19th. And 20th is Drew Bledsoe. 8 of the top 20 quarterbacks in NFL history aren't in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. To your point, Kenny Pickett has a Super Bowl ring. Imagine thinking you're a hot shot because you throw for 200 more yards than the next quarterback, but the quarterback with the least amount of yards wins a championship. Well, think about how players are paid. Every quarterback in the top 10 hasn't won a Super Bowl. How do you justify that? Every quarterback that's in the Pro Football top 10 and highest paid players hasn't won a Super Bowl. What's it based on then? At the end of the day, I don't give a damn about Hurts being in the Hall of Fame. He gets to another one. I'll disagree with the voters. Keep bringing me those moments. We'll see with all the changes that they made. Imagine how Raven fans will look back at the glory days of them never winning, but hey, it got a gold jacket. They'll look at it the same way with Dan Fouts. They'll look at it the same way with Warren Moon. They'll look at it the same way with other quarterbacks that didn't win the Super Bowl. Great years, great. Got to have great teams around you, dude. Hard to win these things. I just showed you on how many, like 2 teams for the last, 17 years have dominated the Super Bowl. Kansas City and New England. Sills, wait, why would Hurts get into the Hall of Fame with 2 Super Bowls, but not Eli Manning with 3 rings? Eli Manning doesn't have 3 rings. Eli Manning has 2 rings and 2 Super Bowl MVPs. I don't know what you're saying with 3 rings. You mean, I didn't say if Hurts gets another ring. I just said if he happens to get there. Great years, failure in the end. Hurts has played well in big moments. Your Baltimore boy stinks. Okay, he stinks. He's no good. All right. So, hey, I got to tell you, hold on here for a second. I got to look for the next big race. The Grand Prix of Canada is coming up, and I hear that Team Krause will be up there, and he's going to be ready to rock and roll. Without further ado, my friend, Big Zane, Xander Krauss joins us right now. How you doing?
What's up, Sills? How you doing, brother?
Dude, I got these stupid allergies. I'm not anything. I'm all right. I'm good. I got these stupid allergies.
Do you always get allergies?
Not really. This is the first time.
I was gonna say, I don't remember you. Yeah, I've been lucky in that way. I don't get many allergies in my life. I never really have. But yeah, my voice is a little faint from the weekend, but all good. I'm feeling good.
Were you hollering?
What's that?
Were you hollering?
Yeah, you're out with the boys a little bit. Yeah, you do a little bit of hollering, no doubt.
Oh, so wait a minute. Is this like a precursor to the marriage and all that? Is this why you did all this? Like
it's a bachelor party. Yeah, my brother put it together.
Oh, that's good, man. That's good. Yeah. All right, here. So let's go here. A.J. Brown. There he was. There he was, man. Zander. He was out of camp. He was in green. He said, I'm an Eagle right now. Are you feeling any optimism that
on AJ coming back?
Yes.
Nah, I don't think so. But if he did, I'd still be happy for him. I'd still be happy to have him back. I think fans are already shifting a little too far. Like, I don't agree with everything AJ did, and I think it probably does make the most sense to move on from him at this point. But I'm not going to sit here and be delusional about the fact that we're losing a great football player who's been a great football player for the Eagles, for the last 4 years. But nothing's really changed. I mean, even Devontae got asked, and he was like, I forget exactly what the quote was, but
he's still an Eagle.
What's it? Yeah, he's still an Eagle, but he might be going on and doing his own things or something like that. So AJ's probably gone. Did you replace him? No, but you got a community approach here. I do think they got some good viable players in the building in Mekhi Lemon and a couple others. I think their depth at that position is better than it's been with Hollywood Brown and Dontavian Wicks. If you look at that, so
they're deeper.
They're a little deeper. They're not better, but they're deeper. And it's going to be on Hurts to get these guys the ball because when you're not relying on those top 2 targets as much, that means you got to spread the ball out, keep defenses on their toes a little bit, get more people involved. So it's going to be a big thing for Hurts, I think, this year to spread that football around and get the ball out on time.
If I'm A.J. Brown, I don't want to go to a boat that's got leaks in it.
In New England?
Yeah. You know what? Why don't you send me to the Chargers?
Yeah, but doesn't every team have leaks in it, dude? Like, seriously.
Yeah, but dude.
Like, you can find leaks on every single team.
Yeah, but that coach may be fired.
He's not going to be fired.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Everywhere you're going, you're going to have to deal with that coach getting – and your team getting razzed in that team and being asked questions about the head coach. When you're in the locker room, if you're A.J. Brown, you go to New England, why would you come to a place where a coach has been under fire so much? Hey, do you think the slow start to the season and the slow start has anything to do with the coach and the offseason issues that, you know what I'm saying, Zander? Media people are stupid. They're gonna try. They want to tie shit like this in, and they'll do any way possible to tie those shoelaces together. You know what I mean? They're gonna try to make that story fit. You think that's still a place where he still wants to go?
I don't know. I said to John this morning, I feel like we've already, even like collectively, the media, the fans, the national media, like I feel like we've all collectively clumped too much of the Patriots into this. Now, I'm not saying the Patriots aren't a viable trade candidate, and he very well might end up in New England, but I never got the sense that I never thought that Howie Roseman would just kind of cut out other teams to get the maximum return on the player there. So I don't know. I mean, it's a good point by you, but Sills, I'll say this to you. I know Mike Vrabel, if there's some smoke there, it could be an issue, but why does A.J. Brown want to leave Philly? It's not about the team's success, right? All right, so isn't
not about the money?
Not about the money, not about the team's success. So if the Patriots suffer as a team because of the chaos around Mike Vrabel and what he's brought on himself and the organization, that's one thing. To me, A.J. Brown cares about the offensive coordinator over there and Josh McDaniels and the quarterback in Drake May. Now, if you had one of those guys on the way out, all right, I think A.J. Brown might be balking. But I don't think Mike Vrabel is directly gonna impact his numbers or his output. And look, he's already proven to us, to Philly, I want my personal numbers more than I want team success. Okay. I think he'll get his personal numbers in New England.
Okay, how about this? If you wanted to go to work and you were thinking about your individual brand, do you want to work with Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, Shawn Manion, or do you want to work with Drake May, Josh McDaniels, and Mike Vrabel? Who would you want to work with?
Well, it depends who you are. I mean,
that's what I'm AJ.
If you're AJ, yeah, you want to work with Josh McDaniel and Drake May, because that's what he showed us that he wants. But I wouldn't personally. I would choose Nick and Manion and Jalen. I mean, to me, they've done more across a longer period of time and have more consistent, sustained success. McDaniel probably not.
Drake May and Vrabel, 11 Super Bowls.
All right, so Nick has Vrabel beat though, and Hurts has Drake May beat. McDaniel's got way more experience than all of them, and really all of them put together. But
okay, but how about this? What do you think is a better organization on stability, on winning? The Patriots or the How about this? Don't you think AJ's more upset with the process and how things are done? You always tell me about the Philly way, constant changing of the coordinators. If Jalen Hurts has a problem with the constant changing of the coordinators, why wouldn't AJ?
Well, he might. I mean,
that's not the quarterback. That's just the process of the Philly way. You tell me all the time.
Yeah, well, look, maybe that's it. Maybe it's not as.
I don't think he hates Jalen Hurts. I don't think that.
I don't think he hates Jalen Hurts, but that you can dislike somebody.
Yeah, I cannot want to play with that guy. Right?
Yeah, right. So I don't. It's hard to gauge that one because look, Hurts is more. He's a less pass happy quarterback. AJ, am I echoing or is that me?
No, you're good.
AJ's a less pass happy, or Jalen's a less pass happy quarterback. So if AJ wants his numbers, then sure, go to Drake May or go to whoever. But and maybe it is coordinator. By the way, speaking of Shawn Manion, did you see him mogging the rest of the coaching staff out there?
No.
What do you mean? Guys like fucking 6'6", towering over everybody. He's lining up under center on the one play out there. I'm like, oh boy, Shawn Manion is coming, Sills. We got our version of McVay and Shanahan here in the city of brotherly love. Shawn Manion, I am taking the bait. I'm like NJ Fishing Maniac. He's tossing the He's tossing the lure out there, and the fish are biting it. I'm biting the Shawn Manion lure, baby.
Oh, my God almighty. Kevin Patullo 2.0. All right.
No, he's not, dude.
Oh, well, we don't know that yet.
He won't be Bobo.
We don't know that yet.
You don't even believe he'll be
Okay,
Bobo.
wait. So hook me up here on one thing, though, with the new offensive line guy and all this, and Chris Cooper and all. So you're going to try to fix the run game. The first thing you do is you draft guys in rounds 3 through 6. You fire Jeff Stoutland. And how about that thing that Cobb said? The O-line is still talking to Stoutland. And he said he was out there and they were still like going back and forth with Stoutland and all. How are you fixing the run game when you got players still talking to Jeff Stoutland on the phone and you decided to go with a different dude? How are you fixing this?
Well, what, the run game?
Yeah.
You got Coop. You don't like Chris Cooper.
I don't know who Chris Cooper is.
Me neither. I don't know how they're going to fix the run game, Sills, but they wanted to get away from the offense that they were playing, the physical brand of offense for some reason. I don't know that. I don't know that it makes sense in the first place to switch off that, but that's what they're doing. So Jeff Stoutland's out. Jeff Stoutland, by the way, now he's like going on like a podcast tour. It's just the third podcast he's been on. It's like, dude, come on, bro.
I have a problem with him talking to the Eagle players, like, and dividing these guys when these guys have to listen to the coach in the building. If I was Nick Sirianni, your boy, I'd be telling my guys, we got the coach over here. This is our guy. Stoutland's out. Fuck that guy. I mean, come on, Nick. Act like a head coach and not a doorman.
Yeah, he's a little, but what do you want? I don't understand what you think of it. Like how you think Nick would have handled this differently. I mean,
hey, fuck you, you're out.
Well, isn't that what they did?
Well, I don't know. The way I hear the Eagles talking about him, great guy, welcome back in the building. We're going to build a monument and a cream cone.
You got to be kidding me, man.
And when he talks about them, he's like, I'm done with them. I'll never
I
do
think
anything.
the owner likes Stoutland, obviously. Why would he not? I mean, I think they all like Stoutland. I don't think they want to, make it look like, because remember, there's also a PR part of that too, isn't there? Like if you tar and feather Jeff Stoutland on the way out the door, then you're going to look like an asshole. So I don't know. I just haven't loved the way Stoutland's like. Every time I go on X now, I'm like, oh, there's a new Stoutland comment. I'm like, all right, dude, I don't really give a shit what Stoutland has to say.
He is crying too much. I'll tell you that. That's one thing.
He's coming off a little bit jealous. He's coming off a little bit, I don't know, like his shit doesn't stink. I mean, and it does.
It does. All right. So you agree Jonathan Kennard's going to be one of your edge guys, right?
Hell yeah. He's going to be a great edge rusher next year. I'm excited to see how Vic uses him.
Who wins the other side, Hunt or Smith?
I'd say, before Grenard, my feeling was Hunt would be the one. But with Grenard coming in and being, Grenard's good against the run, but he's not like Phillips, right? Where he's like kind of
a little more versatile.
Yeah, he's a little bit better at the pass rush stuff. So that made me think Nolan would be out there because Nolan's pretty good against the run and he sets the edge well. He might not pass rush as well as we want him to, but he does set the edge and do the run stopping well. So I think if you have Grenard out there a lot, it feels like Nolan will be the other side. But I think Hunt's going to be the better player in the long term. I really do. I think Hunt's, faster, stronger, bigger. He does everything better, or at least rushes the passer better. He's got a higher ceiling, in my opinion, because he started at this, much later than Nolan Smith. He's still just getting his feet wet. So I think Jalen in the long term, but this year it might be Nolan.
He's got really good hands too. I mean, I think that really goes back to his days when he was a safety, when he was in his younger day, so I think Hunt is a better player.
Hunt's turning out to be a really good third round pick.
Yeah, he is. I was wrong. I didn't know who the fuck he was.
I don't think you were wrong. I mean, he was drafted at a Houston Christian. I just think you were like, who the hell did you just draft in round 3? I think that's what everybody was thinking. Yeah, that's what everybody was thinking. So, yeah, I like J-Lux Hunt, man. I think he's going to have a great future, but we'll see.
Hey, hook me up and correct me if I'm wrong. Did John McMullen hint today on your show
Which
that
was
the coaches weren't really all that high on Makuba? Did I get that wrong?
Well, is that what he said?
Yeah, I thought he went like this.
See, I I do too much during the show. Half of what John says goes in one ear and out the other because I'm doing 4 million things at once. Boy, if he said that, I mean, I know he talked about the injury concern with him.
He said this. He goes, they're kind of like not sure. So my question would be to you is that safety, because I have this, Zander. What will the position battles be? I got edge between Hunt and Nolan Smith. And now my second one is safety position. You think the free and strong safety position, do you think that's going to be an open battle during training camp?
I don't know. I think there's a chance they don't address it. No, I think they're going to, but I don't think they're going to go big. Like they might go a late acquisition, maybe a late trade. Somebody that I would say I'd put the cap at like $7 or $8 million. And whatever that would
think it could be a June 1 casualty, something
like that, or maybe like whatever. What's the equivalent of that in a trade? But like you get what I'm saying. Like I don't think they're going to go big at safety position. Trade a high pick. I think they would trade maybe a 4th or 5th round pick for like a dude who might be on an expiring deal or something like that.
A rental.
Yeah, I mean, remember, dude, they did just pay Tariq Woolen to be opposite Quinion, and you have Cooper, who I'm not saying they're going to move Cooper, but Cooper does have the versatility where they go into base defense. Boom, Cooper can be at safety. You got your 2 guys on the outside. I know that's only 20 or 30% of the snaps, but feels like their secondary is good. I don't know how much more Howie's going to spend there, but if he does bring somebody in, I wouldn't expect it to be a super expensive guy or a super big contract or anything like that.
Do you think Nick Sirianni this year is going to be gauged on the hiring, more gauged on the hiring for a second year in a row, a coordinator that's never called plays, or the parting of the ways with Stoutland?
Well, I think probably the coordinator more so, just because they have a bigger say, a bigger impact. Like, for example, if the run game dominates this year or has a good year, let's say Saquon gets 1,500 yards, who do you think is going to get the credit for that?
Cooper.
Not Manion.
Manion and Cooper.
Right. So
more so to your point, Manion, because if Cooper turns out to be that's the guy he wanted to run his stretch offensive run plays, Manion's going to get a head coaching job.
Right. Yeah, I think it's more Manion just because he's got a bigger role in the success. Right, exactly. So to me, it's Manion. Like if I guess if they run well and they struggle to pass again, that's where it would look not so good for Manion and look better for Chris Cooper. But that still feels far-fetched to me. And that would still probably be unfair because, look, Chris Cooper, Shawn Manion is inheriting an offense that has consistently been bottom half of the league in throwing the football. Chris Cooper is inheriting an offensive line and a run game that maybe had a down year, but for the last 4 years has been undisputed as a top 5 O-line in the league and really a top 8 run game every single year. So I think he's getting the better unit, or at least the unit that has more established success in the past. So I don't know if it would be all him or not. I mean, look, if Cam and Landon are healthier, they're going to run the ball better. Whether Chris Cooper is good or not, we still won't know. But yeah, to me, it's Manion, dude. I think Shawn Manion is going to be a fucking grand slam for the Eagles.
Yeah.
Guy's going to be a stud. This guy's going to have the offense humming. Look, I think it really comes down to if Hurts, and I understand why he doesn't. If Hurts buys into the process and buys into the system, which, look, I say that because you guys got to all understand, it's not that easy for Hurts to buy in. Why the fuck would he? What's it say?
Here's what it says. Is the quarterback really buying into the new offense?
And it's hard for him, too, with all this change constantly every single year. So we'll see. But I do think if he does and he gets the ball out, that's what Manion's going to have to coach Hurts up on. Look, dude, if you're changing your skill set from a sense of you used to not throw the ball quick, but you could gash teams with your legs. If you're going to not do that as much, that's okay. But with that means we got to get the ball out and get the ball into the hands of the playmakers quick and efficiently and often. Early, quick, and often. So that to me is what Manion's got to help Jalen in his next step of his development. If you're not going to run as much, we got to get the ball out. We got to get the ball into the hands of Mekhi Lemon and Devontae Smith. We got to get Eli Stowers and Dallas Goedert involved. We got to get Saquon in space. We have to do these things more like other quarterbacks did. Dude, what they used to call Tom Brady the check down merchant. I push back on the narrative that Hurts has to do everything. He just has to do the right thing consistently. Doesn't mean he needs to be Superman. Doesn't mean he needs to be Josh Allen or Joe Burrow or any of these other dudes. He just has to make the right read and the right play at the right time consistently throughout the year. And I think they got the playmakers they need to really set it up. But that will be a test because that hasn't been Hurts' game. He's been such an athletic player all his life, so he's been able to run away and do a lot of different things. But that's what I think it will come down to. If Hurts can do that, I think the offense can look really good.
So you think Hurts is going to be it's a question. You think Hurts is going to be a different quarterback without his athleticism?
I think this offense, I don't think that's a question of what my opinion is. I think it's what the offense is dictating he has to be. Now, will he become that? That's a different question. Maybe, maybe not. I think he could be in a certain version. I don't think you're going to turn him into something he's not, but I do think there's a world where you can say to Jalen, look, that ball is going to come out in time. I do think there's a world where you can make those first two reads, built into the offense in a better way for him to be able to get through those two reads. I do think you can give him more throws underneath, across the middle, quick slant routes, quick curl routes, even mesh routes. I mean, give him a couple. Devontae Smith on a mesh route, I don't think anybody's sticking with him. Let him. Now, the problem with that is, I guess, coming across the middle. Is that an issue a little bit? So I do think there's a world where you can improve on some of those things without asking Jalen Hurts to be, Brock Purdy. And I don't think you have to do that. I think we get caught up in these extremes, and that's what I'd like to see from Hurts. And if he does that, I think the offense is going to be in a good spot. And I think on the end of it will be a big-ass contract for Jalen Hurts.
Do you agree that this word here is probably going to dictate the 2026 season? The word patience. Because if he comes out of the gate and the offense wobbles in the first 3 weeks and they fucking can it and they go back, they'll be back to square zero again.
Yeah.
So my question is going to be, Xander, are you going to be all in? Like, you know what all in is? Run 17 games.
Yeah.
If you're so fucking high-horsed on changing, John says, I think they're going to revert back. If you revert back, it's a failure on everything you did in the offseason. If you revert back, because they're telling you that they believe right now today on May 4th, they can't win that way. So if they go back to a comfort zone in week 6, dude, you're back to where you were before, having gotten rid of AJ. That makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only problem with that, I don't disagree, but if they're winning games, it won't be a failure.
Okay.
Like remember what Nick's job is, dude. Like Nick wants to win a game every week. So if he feels like, all right, what we're doing hasn't worked, we got to do what we can to win, and that's rely again on the run game or whatever it might be, and they win games because of it. Well,
my question would be, then you brought in 5 new pass catchers. You couldn't get the ball in their hands. And now you're going back to running with offensive linemen you haven't utilized the last 2 years.
I mean, let's add the context of those pass catchers. I mean, Stowers might not even have a big role this year. He's probably the replacement for Dallas Goedert in the future.
He's still a 2.
Mekhi Lemon is, going to be the replacement for the departure of AJ Brown. So you're going to be one. I mean, in a way, in the long term, you still have the same. You just improved your depth. I mean, you got a little worse at your top end, I think, but You just have more depth guys. Some of them are for the future.
But
you know?
but the whole ideology of what you're going to do is different right now, according to
It is in the offseason.
Gary told me that he was out there watching. They were running all types of motion and doing all kinds of different things out there with the new offensive coordinator. Week 6, you're going to fucking revert back.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. I mean, I do agree. It would probably be a negative if they did that. But I mean, if they end up winning games because of it, then I don't think people will be that upset. But we'll have to see if that bears out. Last year, they weren't able to do it. You know, they didn't win the big games down the stretch because of it. So I guess you'd have to see what they're able to do or how successful they are. But I don't know. I struggle with the whole thing of like, it's got to be this scheme or it's a failure. You know, I don't know, man. That's my whole fear with this Manion experiment. It's not even about Manion. It's about the decision-making process of Sirianni and the staff, really, to abandon what worked. So we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of different ways this thing can go, dude. I'll tell you what. It's a content heaven for Big Sills.
Oh, my God, is it? All right, here's another one. Appreciate you guys coming in. Hit that like button. Okay. So do you believe Markel Bell is going to be an impact player this year?
No, I think he'll be a potential swing tackle, but I think he'll be a depth piece, and I think it'd be a win for him if he's a swing tackle this year, because that would mean he unseated Fred Johnson.
Do you think Drew Kendall's going to be an impact player this year?
I think Drew Kendall is probably going to be your primary interior depth piece. That's just my early feeling.
You think Miles Hinton is going to be an impact player this year?
No.
Okay. Do you think you have enough depth in the offensive line?
I think they're a little thin.
Okay.
I think they're pretty thin.
Okay.
I think they need more interior help. I think if Markel Bell has a good camp, I think they're good at tackle, because you have
Fred and him.
You have Fred and you have Bell. You know what I mean? Like, you have pretty good depth there. But when it goes to the interior, I mean, Drew Kendall, I like him, but that is kind of a projection for him to be able to play that. You know, same with the other guys you just mentioned. So I think they're pretty thin on the interior. You know, I mean, I actually like that dude, but we haven't seen him much. But
the kid from Georgia.
Well, that's Micah Morris, the new guy. I don't know what he'll do. He's a rookie, so I don't have many expectations for him, a 6th-round rookie. But, you know, could a guy like Willie Lampkin provide some relief to Cam Jurgens at center? You know, he's a center type of dude who's got that, you know, he's smaller, but he's got good athleticism and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I do think it's a weak depth right now in the interior of the O-line. I think tackle, they're good though.
So do you think they need to bring another edge in?
Edge, I think they're good. I mean, they got Grenard, Jalix, Nolan, and who else do they got? They got Ebiketie. They have who am I missing?
Let me see here. Ebiketie here. I don't really see anybody else.
Yeah, 4 is probably a little light, but I don't know. I mean, who do you need at 5? You know, they'll probably get somebody that's cheap.
What did they do during the Super Bowl year? Was it a 3-man rotation?
It was late, remember, because of injuries. Brandon Graham was out until the Super Bowl.
And they deactivated Huff.
Exactly. So the Super Bowl, Brandon came back for, but he only played like 8 snaps. It was Nolan, it was Jalix, and it was Sweat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. It was a 3. But remember Vic's comments. He said, I'll do it because I have to. It's not my preferred way to do it is have a 3-man edge rotation. So I think you want 4 guys. They got the 4. The question probably is who's 5 and 6, which might not matter all that much.
You think Jalen has a big year?
I think he has to. I don't know. I don't feel overwhelming confidence because, look, they're asking the dude to do something completely different. You know, hey, Big Sills, I need you to stop your football show and do a show on tennis. You think you're going to be good in year 1?
No.
I think I got a lot of confidence in Sills. I think he might struggle. You know, not struggle, but hey, it's a new game for him. I don't know if he's going to like tennis. Like
be a lot of lying.
Yeah, right. So they're asking him to be something he hasn't been in his life. I don't think that's a great recipe, but I think he's got to have a huge year, dude. I think Jalen Hurts has to be the leader of this football team this year, more so than he's been last year, 2 years. I mean, I think Jalen Hurts needs to be the guy carrying the torch for the offense. You know, everybody get on my back. I'm going as far as we'll take it. If you guys buy in, if you guys help me, we'll go further together. But the leader of that ship has to be Jalen Hurts, especially, by the way, with the departure potentially of A.J. Brown. Because now the power has isolated. The leadership has isolated a little bit more, condensed a little bit. Now that means Jalen's got to carry that torch. Jalen, Saquon, and Smitty, and then Lane when you get to the offensive line and Mailata. But Jalen's got to be the leader of that ship. He's got to lead that offense. And look, if they're 20th again, folks, I don't want to hear any one of you guys making excuses. You can't be the highest paid offense in football and have shoddy results. You just can't.
Highest paid O-line too, by the way.
Right. So there's no excuses, I think, that can be acceptable for underperforming. Now, I'm not going to say you got to be top 5 or bust. I mean, that's not really how football goes. You know, we don't know how the injuries are going to go. We don't know how the offensive court. I mean, there's a lot of different variables here, but they can't be bottom half of the league again.
You said something, and you say it all the time, and I'm going to add this to it. I'm going to add the owner in here. When does the owner, if the owner, how much patience? You tell me all the time, this guy's not a very patient guy. He's a knee-jerk react guy.
Well,
I mean,
patience is a tricky thing this year, Sills. Like you brought it up a couple minutes ago, and I meant to respond to it. I didn't because we went in a different direction. But, you know, think about the patience comment. And I think it's a good one by you, right? That it's fair. But I will say this. If you're the Arizona Cardinals, patience is a good thing. If you're the New Orleans Saints, patience is a good thing. If you're the Philadelphia Eagles and you have a window that's closing and a team that's paid like they are and a roster that's accumulated the talent that they have, I don't know that. Like, do I wish they were more patient at times? Yes. But do I also understand the complexity of being a contending team and saying, we don't have patience? You know, there is no time for Shawn Manion to learn how to become a coach here so that we can compete in 2027. They're not looking at it like that, and they shouldn't. If you're the Cardinals, sure. You're the Saints, sure. So the Eagles, as a team that's trying to contend, trying to compete. By the way, the owner, he's the one shelling out all the money every year. Hey, we're contenders. We're top of the league. We have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. So that's where I think his lack of patience comes from. And in some areas, it does make sense. You know, you be patient. That's a slippery slope. You're too patient. You're going to sit there and let life pass you by. But you also can't be, you know, knee-jerk reaction to where you make bad decisions because your desired result didn't come on the exact timeline that you prescribed for it. So it's kind of a tough line to walk. But I understand why when you're a great team with big aspirations, you know, that and patience don't always go hand in hand.
You know, Nick Saban said something last year, a College Game Day, and I think that the Eagles should take heed to it. His idea of coaching is this. You know, when I was worried about a respected season or a respected game, I got to win this year. I got to win right now. I got to win. I didn't win at the same clip I ended up winning once I did this. I started to worry more about my process. I started to build a process and how it wasn't about one season. It wasn't about 1 or 2 games. It wasn't about Ohio State. It wasn't about this. It was about how we conducted business every single day. And I hear Nick doing it too. I don't really worry about the Cowboy game being a big game. To me, the process with the Eagles has to be, you got to be patient with building this new process. Because if you're not, and you're worried about being good in 17, you're not going to be good in 17. I think what made that Eagle run great for 5 years, they stuck to what they did. They believed in the run game. They fucking ran you over, and they played exceptional defense. Well, you're deviating off that process now. It's not the same process.
I mean, you are a little bit, but like
you're changing direction.
Here's a comment from my boy Prince. What's up, Prince? Good to see you, brother. He said, is the window closing, though? I thought you guys said defense wins championships. The defense hasn't hit its prime. I agree with that point, but Prince, the only thing I think that's different this year is you're looking at a lot of turnover on the team if the offense falls flat again.
Yeah, but that defense was not a championship defense last year because of one thing.
The offense.
The offense at the end of the year with those legendary 3-and-outs fucking killed it. That's why when you're 31st and 3-and-outs, Prince, you may think you have it on paper, but by the end of the year, the 49ers beat you with a JV team for a reason. You know why? It wasn't because you weren't good. It's because you got worn out.
All right. Well, that's where I disagree with Prince. I mean, the window's not closing on the defensive side of the ball, but I think you are in a year on offense where if the offense, let's just say they do what they did last year. Well, guess what, dude? Nick is going to be fired. Shawn Manion will be gone. Jalen probably won't get extended. You're probably looking at the loss of Lane Johnson.
And you replace 3 of those offensive linemen.
Right. I mean, there's a lot at stake this year on offense, which is the only thing I disagree with you on, Prince. I mean, I think your point is good that the defense hasn't hit its prime yet. I agree, but just feels like there's a lot up in the air this year with the offense, dude. A lot up in the air. So it's like, how do you walk the line, Sills? You got to be patient, but you also can't be too patient like you. We're the Miami Hurricanes in 86. Patient? Fuck no. You guys were about to lose all your best players. You couldn't be patient. It was, we're either winning or we failed. You know? So it might not be a perfect comp, but I'm just saying it's like a fine line. You got to
you know what we did? 86 was our most talented team we've ever had next to the 01 team. We won with our backups the following year, the national title. You know why? Because we had a process we believed in. And we were more pissed off than ever. I mean, I was a dick at press conferences.
Yeah, I believe it.
I mean, they kept asking me about last year, and I kept going like this. Well, I don't give a shit about anything right now except us winning. I give a shit about nothing. I mean, I was really an asshole. I mean, bigger than I am now. You should have seen it. It was not. Hey,
what do you call yourself now? A pacifist or something?
Yeah, I'm a pacifist now. I'm more of I try to see both sides in some aspects, but I really don't because I don't like really guys riding the fence. But,
is that why you're going soft on the chat? You're too much of a pacifist.
What you mean? Like what? M. Reyes? He's so fucking dumb. Rocks in my shoes are smarter than that guy. Holy shit! Are you kidding me? All right. So Big Z, Nick Sirianni. Last one here for you, bro. Oh, Nicky. Angelo can't stand this guy. He just goes.
Angelo can't. Is there anybody Angelo likes?
Hey, what'd you make of his Mount Rushmore? Carson Wentz.
Wait, what was the Mount Rushmore? His most hated people?
His most hated Philadelphia sports people ever. Here they are. Carson Wentz. And by the way, I want this as a clip because this will be very good. He hates Carson Wentz, Gabe Kapler.
That's a good one. That would not. He's not important enough to be on the Mount Rushmore. But I digress.
Andy Reid, too.
Horrible one. I mean, that is just as stupid as it gets.
And fucking Joel Embiid as number one.
That's funny. I don't know. I struggle with Joel.
Don't go soft on Embiid. He's fool's gold.
I know, but it's not going soft on him. It's just like the dude gets fucking hurt all the time. I mean, he's hurt. He's a 7-foot dude who gets hurt constantly. I mean, I know, Sills, it's a part of the evaluation, but I don't hate the dude because of it.
No.
I mean, he's loyal to Philly. Has he under delivered? Yeah, he has. But at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know if you want to be
you may find yourself in an NBA Finals.
No, stop it.
Wait. This Knicks team barely got a win. Bro.
Yeah, they're not that good.
The Hawks almost took them out.
I'll tell you who's not fool's gold. The rookie.
Oh, dude.
VJ Edgecombe. That kid's a fucking killer. That kid's going to have a good-ass career.
Listen, I know you like him. Yeah. I'll tell you what. I watched Maxey the other day.
Oh,
that fucking guy's the best player since Iverson.
He is so good, man. Tyrese Maxey is so good. I'm telling you, when the season
Dude,
started,
he's got
I
a
was
Jimmy
watching.
Butler clutch thing about him, kind of deal. He's like a leader out there,
He's
man.
got it, man. He's got the it factor for sure. And VJ showing up in big moments as a rookie. I think there's some good things happening with the Sixers. But
well, listen, you think what Cleveland and the Pistons don't shake your boots, do they?
Cleveland's pretty good, and so are the Pistons, dude.
Okay, do you think they're
beatable? Cunningham, that dude can fucking hoop.
Wait, do you think the Detroit Pistons were down 3-1 to the Magic? They had to fight their ass.
I know, but that kid can hoop. I'm just saying that there's good matchups there, So look, it's the playoffs.
They're
man.
beatable, though. Is my point.
They're very beatable, but the Sixers are too. So
I don't think anybody's beating OKC or Spurs. San Antonio.
No, me neither. Maxi's a fucking stud, and that's game 1's tonight, right?
Yeah,
it's gonna be good.
Dude. I got to tell you, man, Wembanyama is a fucking great.
Hey, Cunningham is one of my favorite players in the league right now. That kid is ice cold in a positive way.
Hey, you were gone. What'd you make of your boy getting blown out, Rob Thompson?
Yeah, I mean, I get why they did it. Look, Angelo's like, well, they were 9-19, and like, Rob, how does he not get fired? I'm like, they're fucking $50 million players, can't hit a beach ball. Like, I get the baseball thing where maybe a change of scenery makes sense, and I'm not even saying they should have kept Rob. I'm just saying, if you're going to sit here and tell me that Rob Thompson is the number one reason that the Philadelphia Phillies have had an awful start to their year, I'm not buying that bullshit. They can't pitch. All the contracts they signed on the pitchers look like shit, except for one of them, basically. All of the star players on offense suck. They can't hit. I mean, who's their best hitter right now? Bryson fucking Stott. Who's the dude who's hitting right now? The unlikely name that's hitting. I don't even know. I don't even remember his damn name. It's like Bryce Harper can't hit. Trey Turner can't hit. Kyle Schwarber's been okay. What do you want Rob to do? Can't pitch, can't hit. Bunch of dudes making big money. That's not Rob Thompson's fault, So it is what it is. Good change of scenery. We'll see what they can do. I don't have many. I think they're probably.
So I do know Alex Cora, and Alex Cora. What's that? We talking Brandon Marsh?
No, yeah, or Stott, Bryson Stott. The guy's
okay. Stott, Bryson Stott. Yeah, okay. So he went to University of Miami a little bit after me. I asked him, by the way, I think you're going to see his ass in Clearwater.
For next year? Well, he's going to have a tough turnaround.
Well, I think
you can have the greatest manager in the history of baseball. If your $35 million players are not hitting, if your top of the lineup is not hitting, if you can't field, if you can't pitch, if you can't do the fundamental basics of baseball, I don't give a shit who's managing your team. You're not going far. So blame Rob all you want. I mean, maybe Rob could have done things better, but I'm not buying that it was all Rob Thompson. No way.
What about Bryce Harper right now, hitting 256 right now?
Yeah.
Look at him. You think he's running at it? Like, look, right
now.
Angelo
had a good point about him. Guy started really early. Maybe
he was 17 years old.
Yeah. Maybe that well's drying up quicker than we thought. Thank God they didn't extend that contract when they were gone. Remember, there was like 5 years left, and they were thinking about extending it. Oh gosh, don't do that. I mean, look, the Phillies are. I'm kind of out on them right now. I don't know. I mean, could they turn it around? Yeah,
Cleveland did a year ago.
It's a long baseball season, but not super optimistic on them. I actually think the team with the brightest future right now in the city of brotherly love, and I'm not a fan of this team, is the Philadelphia Flyers.
Keith Jones has done a great job with Daniel.
Keith Jones has done a great job. They got a good young team. They finally got a goaltender who can stop the
Every time I turn the fucking tube on, man, I see a guy that looks like he's 14 years old. They
got good hockey players. They have that Owen Tippett kid, the Zagros kid, the youngster who just got called up.
They got better on the blue line, and
I think they have the best future right now, immediate future, next 3 years. I think even more so than the Eagles, because the Eagles just have a lot of question marks.
And they're running into a tough one though against Carolina.
Yeah, that's a tough team. Well, look, if you're a Flyers fan, I would not be discouraged at all by what happens in this series, even if Carolina runs away with it. I mean, the fact that the Flyers made it this far, I think, is already a huge win in of itself. I think they got very meaningful playoff experience versus a team like the Pittsburgh Penguins. I actually think for the long run, allowing the Penguins to creep back in that series a little bit helps the Flyers in the long run. I said at the start of that series, I like the Flyers. And then when they went up 3-0, I said, be careful here because Pittsburgh is a team that has so much experience. If you let them get some momentum, they could come back in this thing. And the Flyers figured out how to win. So I thought that was great experience for them and a lot of confidence building for those young players. Now they probably – think about it. That Flyers team is going to enter the year next year like we're a playoff hockey team.
Yeah.
That goes a long way. The other thing I love about the NHL playoffs, and I've always felt like this was more true in NHL than other sports. It is true in all sports, but when the NHL playoffs roll around, Sills, you don't count anybody out, dude.
No way.
You remember
what the Canadians did?
You remember what the St. Louis Blues did a couple of years ago, led by Craig Berube? They were last in the league at the All-Star break. Last in the league. Think about that, guys. Last in the freaking league.
Yep.
They turned it around, went on a crazy run, and won the Stanley Cup with a rookie goaltender, I believe, in Jordan Binnington.
Yep. Look what Lindy Ruff did in Buffalo. Look at what Lindy Ruff did, turning the Buffalo Sabres around the way he did.
Never count anybody out, man. If the Flyers can get some momentum, they could win this series, but it's a tough opponent.
I'm going to ask you one last question here about the NHL playoffs. I'm going to ask you about something with the Bolts. Vasilevsky's the best goaltender on the planet. This is the 4th straight year the Lightning got knocked out in the opening round.
Yeah.
And you got John Cooper, who's won 91.
Vasilevsky's not the best goalie on the planet. That's Igor Shesterkin in New York.
He's going to win. He's going to – the Islander guy?
No. New York Rangers. Igor Shesterkin. That dude.
He's going to win it. He's going to win the Vezina.
I'm not saying it's not a knock on Vasilevsky. He's obviously a tremendous player, but I'm an Igor Shesterkin guy.
Okay, so check this out. So I said this, 4 straight years in a row. You got that salary, and Kucherov was a fucking ghost in the postseason. He was a ghost. St. Louis had that. He goes into the barn where he was a star. He won the Art Ross. He won the Hart Trophy. And you get beat like that 2-1. You want to hear this, Z? On 9 shots. The Canadians beat the Bolts on 9 shots.
9 shots is insane.
9 shots. It's the first time in Stanley Cup history, Game 7.
Meanwhile, the fucking Flyers goalie had 42 saves on 0 goals on 42 saves in their overtime win in Game 6 versus the Penguins.
And you lose 2-1 in your own barn.
That's horrible. Yeah, look, the Lightning is it. Look, I'm not gonna. I know you have a lot of history with the Lightning and stuff, and that's tough to do what they did to maintain the success. Because if you remember, they won back-to-back cups in 2020.
They went to 3 in a row.
They won back-to-back. John Cooper obviously was an amazing job coaching that hockey team.
Absolutely.
Now they're kind of teetering, and that sometimes happens. Remember how long Ovechkin went before he won a cup? Sometimes you got all the right dudes, and it's just hard to win, man. So I wouldn't count them out.
Here, get this. So I was talking with on my show. I had Brian Trottier on. Brian Trottier won 4 Stanley Cups in a row. See, do you think you'll ever see this again? The New York Islanders won 19 consecutive series, 4 straight cups, got beat in the 5th Cup Finals by Edmonton. You think you'll ever see a team in the NHL ever win 19 consecutive series ever again?
No, probably not.
Not 5 years in a row.
There's too much parity in the league now.
Yes.
I don't think you even just staying focused for that long is so fucking hard to do. Look at the Panthers. They didn't even make the playoffs this year.
I know.
They won how many cups in a row? They won 2 in a row, right? Yeah,
they won 3.
24.
I thought they won
2, 24 and 25.
Yeah.
They didn't even make the playoffs.
Prior to that, the Lightning won 2 in a row.
Well, yeah, I think there was a couple in between them, but yeah.
Yeah,
didn't the Avs win and the
the
Knights won, right? Golden Knights won.
I think the Avs are going to go to the Western Conference Finals. I think the Avs are going to make it to the
Yeah, I
final.
got to look at the bracket.
Yeah.
I kind of got out of the mix here because I was fucking away. Yeah, I mean, you got, I don't know, the Wild are good. The Avalanche are great. Knights and Anaheim in there. Carolina and the Philly. Yeah, that's a tough series, dude.
Look what Tortorella did a nice job with the Vegas Knights.
Carolina's just a great team, too.
Dude, Rob Brindamore.
Oh, man. They're a good team.
Right. Dude, that guy's got the face of Philly on him.
Yeah, he does. He does.
The way
when I was young, I loved Rod Brindamore as a player.
Fucking
I used to play him on this.
Dude.
Look.
Dude, Rob
I used to play him, I think, on this. I don't know if I think he was NHL 07. Look on a PSP.
Is that Ovechkin on the cover?
Yeah, it's Ovechkin on the cover.
Look how old he is. All right, Z. I will see you in the morning. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody.
All right, brother. I appreciate you. I'll catch you tomorrow.
You bet, brother. I'll see you in the morning there. All right, guys. We really appreciate you. We will see you tomorrow going 2 to 6. Please hit the like button. We'll catch you on the flip side.